Hello, Janksters, and welcome to another edition of the MagicJank podcast, the show where members of Team MagicJank get together and we chat about magic and gatherings and the magical gatherings thereof. That didn't make sense, but we're going to keep marching on. My name is Graham. I go by HamHawks42 on the internet, and I'm joined by the one and only CarloMTG. Carlo, what's up, my dude?
What's up, everybody? Just coming off of a good weekend. I personally am starting my whole week off from work until the new year this week, so I get to go do cool daytime things.
Heck yeah.
And by the way, and not to steal your thunder, Ham, but we are actually recording this one live over on HamHawks Twitch channel. For those of you who don't know, HamHawks does stream in the daytime.
I do.
And you should probably click all the links and stuff below in the description.
They're there with links and things. And yeah, one of the things that you can do during the day is guest on my stream while we record this podcast instead of the usual carving out some time in the evening when everyone's available vibe, which it's always a blast. I'm glad to have you. So thanks for making the time, and thank you, chat, for hanging out with us while we're here. So yeah, good stuff. And this actually is going to be the last episode of 2025, which is kind of wild because it's been quite the year. It's funny looking back on it. I think recently I was on an episode of Generic Commander where we played our favorite commanders from 2025, like cards that came out this year, and I ran with Achik Emerald Radiant because Aether Drift was this year. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
That feels like another age ago because so much it has. I mean, I feel like so much is happening every week or every month in this game. It's wild.
Aether Drift was this year. Don't you remember racing Aether Drift vehicles at MagicCon? Was that Chicago?
That was Chicago.
Was this year, right?
I do remember that. That was really fun. Yeah, it was great.
Papa Hawks was racing with us. It was great.
That was one of my. So looking back on this year. A big highlight for me was definitely that my dad joined us for MagicCon Chicago. That was unreasonably fun. It was great. And when Carlos was racing, we were literally, they had stock car races, and they had 3 different tracks, one to represent each of the planes from Aether Drift. It was just the amount of effort that went into that kind of event and display was really, I don't know. They clearly did a great job with it. I'm assuming somebody at Wizards or at whatever, I don't know if Reed Pop or whoever was doing the event. Somebody was clearly into model trains and was like, "Oh, this one's like an Egyptian theme ones. I got this," and really went just bonkers on those stock car tracks. It was really cool to see. And Carlo, of course, won it.
Each of the planes, it was great.
And of course, the prize was the Aether Spark. So Carlo had something to jam on, something to fight for. So of course, our super friend here had
the Aether Spark. I am now have the ability to planeswalk without walking through the Omen Paths, and I am very pleased about it.
That's pretty cool. Also, there's something about the so the other element this year was the story itself. Aether Drift was one of those stories that it should have just been a silly trope. It should have just been, we made so many jokes about the wacky races or the Mario Kart set, and there's literally a blue shell in it. Wizards knew what, the Spike Shell Harrier is just no joke. So they knew what was going on. They knew the assignment. But at the end of the day, the actual story of Aether Drift is shockingly well told and far more nuanced than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
And it's funny, actually, recently Spice A-Rack put out a video that I'm halfway through because it's 4 hours long, all about fascism and revolution, and Aether Drift story is one of the recurring themes and one of the things that they analyze very heavily, and it's shockingly interesting. Way cooler than it has any right to be. Yeah. So that's actually something that I also want to shout out as it relates to 2025. I feel like the story team over at Wizards have really stepped up and brought some really cool narratives into the mix.
Yeah. In the past, a lot of people always, when they talk about the story, number one thing I always hear is people miss the Magic novels that they used to have a while ago. And that was something you used to, believe it or not, chat, for non-boomers out there, you used to be able to buy fat packs of sets, and it would come with a novel of the
Yep.
story of the lore for the set with it. Like OG fat packs. Like imagine
Mm-hmm.
paying $30 and getting a bunch of booster packs and a book,
Right? It
right?
was so
And
cool.
the storage boxes that you get in the bundles are the same storage boxes you got in fat packs. So nothing about that has actually ever changed. Downside is you don't get a book anymore. Yeah.
Which is a shame because those are cool. But I can understand the cost of printing books and not including them in packs to consumers that will largely not read them. Like, funnily
Yeah.
enough, I enjoyed owning those books. Like, I owned the Kamigawa novels, and I owned the Mirrodin novels back in the day. So like
Yeah.
when people talk about Glissa, most people think of Glissa Sunslayer,
Yep.
all the other like Phyrexian versions. Glissa Sunseeker
Yep.
was like that was the OG and my association with this character and the face of Mirrodin. Like when Mirrodin first
Yep.
came out, she was the protagonist in the book, and but kind of to illustrate the point of maybe the value add on those books wasn't quite worth it. Like I read the first two books, and Slowbad's the best. And I really wanted to root for Glissa, and it was a cool environment to be in, and it was they were very interesting. I owned all three novels. I read the first two, and the Fifth Dawn novel has been one of those books I'll get to one of these days for 20 years.
Yeah.
So like I get it.
Yeah.
you know? So I can't blame Wizards for not continuing to push the story as a core part of of the Magic product. I get it, but I'm glad that they're at least investing in it for people who want to participate. And one of the things I find really interesting too is I've been doing the audio versions, which by the way, phenomenal. Like the Magic Story podcast, fully available for free. You can go download it right now and go listen to all of the story articles that came out this year.
Love it.
Yeah, they're great. And Aether Drift, way better than it had any right to be. Edge of Eternities, again, far better than it had any right to be. Dragonstorm was just excellent. Dragonstorm was definitely the one that felt like that's classic Magic, just being classic Magic, and like that's we need to celebrate that. They gave it to us, they did it, and it's great. And like so that's out there. And the Lorwyn story is also very well told, and also feels just like it's just magic as hell. So
And
like
Strixhaven actually has a novel with it, right? It's like the story
does
isn't
it?
out yet, but the author has made like an actual physical novel that you can buy about Strixhaven. I remember
Sick.
seeing some of the WotC folks talk about that over on Blue Sky.
I love
So
that.
that I think it's like available for pre-order, so you can buy it now. Obviously, you won't be able to see the story, but Strixhaven technically is not that far away, even though Lorwyn hasn't released yet. But in a
Right.
series of 7 sets in Standard in a year, that's just what you're going to get. So
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Lorwyn or Strixhaven is what 2 sets away, so it'll come out in about 8 weeks. Yeah, right. So,
something like
that's
this.
slight hyperbole, but only slight,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Now,
Oh.
just to relate to this, I know we're doing 2025 in review,
Yeah.
but so I was at my LGS yesterday for an RCQ, right? And so they
Yeah.
have the promo things on the TV that tell you when the events are that are coming up, right? So obviously, Lorwyn. So this week is Lorwyn previews, right? The week after that is the Spotlight Series Avatar in Atlanta, right? So it's a standard like old GP, so it's an open tournament for anybody. But then that next weekend is when Lorwyn comes out. So Lorwyn comes out in 2 weeks. So three total weeks, but 2 weekends from now will be Lorwyn pre-release. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pre-release is exactly 1 month after. I'm not joking. It's literally a month after. Okay? You remember in previous
Oh
episodes we've
god.
talked about how quick that they have to do 4 sets in 3 months? Or three sets in 4 months? And that is what is happening. I'm not sure how many people are actually notice this, but a month
That's
after Lorwyn pre-release is in fact Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pre-release. So that
bonkers.
means you are going to be going from this preview season immediately now, 1 week, and then you're going to get 2 weeks of Lorwyn, when it releases before preview season for
Mm-hmm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle needs to happen. That has to be correct because
Right.
you typically, outside of holidays, would get 2 weeks of previews before a new set comes out, right?
Oh my
So just
goodness.
to put it in perspective, it's going to be happening that fast. So that means you will have Lorwyn Legal and Standard for 1 month to play with the cards before a new set comes in. So you don't get to enjoy Lorwyn like you got to enjoy Avatar for 2 months. Just FYI.
Oh man, that's bonkers. So okay, so for Commander players out there, if you're, it's so funny because I feel like we've joked about, by the time you actually get your hands on the physical cards that are old news and we're moving on to the next thing, but like from many online retailers, if you buy singles from Lorwyn, there's no guarantee that you'll have them in your hands before Ninja Turtles drops.
Yeah.
That is bonkers.
Yeah. So it's gonna
Wow.
be quick, gonna be fast.
Yeah, it's gonna be fast. So brace yourself, everybody. Yeah, man, and it's funny. I feel like this year things moved way too fast. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's
now
and
here
it's
we are. Oh my
interesting
goodness.
because the number one thing I hear from a lot of Magic players is I don't understand why Magic is doing 7 sets this year.
Mm-hmm.
And my response is always, well, we did 7 sets last year. It's just that 6 of them were standard legal, right? As opposed to 7 sets being standard legal. And people are
Right.
like, what do you mean? There were only 6 sets last year. And I say, no. Do you
Nope.
remember when Innistrad Remastered came out and a month later Aether Drift came out? Right?
To which they
Innistrad was
reply,
the first
"No,
set.
I don't remember that." It's like, yeah,
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 and I don't even know. It's crazy because the hype behind Innistrad is always high, right? Because
always. Yeah,
Innistrad is
yeah.
just it's a great plane, it's a
Mm-hmm.
great storyline. I remember the iconic artwork of like Liliana sitting on a throne and Jace bowing down to her. Like
Oh, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Innistrad, right? And then you
Yeah.
revisited the plane of Innistrad, and all of a sudden Emrakul is in a moon, and so like Innistrad is iconic Magic, but
Mm-hmm.
Innistrad Remastered wasn't the most popular of sets for whatever reason. I mean, it was a complete reprint set, right? You took like the
Yeah.
best from OG Innistrad, maybe some Midnight. Oh no, I'm sorry, they didn't touch Midnight Hunt cards on purpose. But then you saw like the second Innistrad block iteration cards sort of coming together, or cards that mechanically fit Innistrad's theme. Um,
Um, there there were some
kind of.
cards from like Midnight Hunt and Crimson
Was there
Vow. There were a
Midnight Hunt
couple.
cards
There
in
were
that
a
set?
couple, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Oh,
like
Memory Deluge. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
like
right.
Memory Deluge, for example. But like yeah, ones that definitely were very plane specific. So like definitely highlighted that. But it wasn't. It feels like they did disproportionately favor the earlier stuff as far as the reprints were concerned.
Right.
Absolutely, to your point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah. So
it.
I was very surprised how not popular the set was. They
Mm-hmm.
gave us a chase card though. That was Edgar Markov, right? They kind of said, "Here's our
Yes.
chase card. We haven't reprinted Edgar Markov, but here's 5 variants or of Edgar Markov in the set
Yup.
for you to chase." Right? So like the different treatments. So you could get like the regular Edgar Markov in the
Mm-hmm.
the normal border, I guess if we're calling it that nowadays. Um, at
The
Mythic,
classic
of
border. I don't know.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
classic border, modern border, whatever we want to call it. Um,
Yep.
and then they showed us a showcase version of the card with different art uh, on Edgar. There was a retro border Edgar, so the same regular art, but retro Magic border, pre-modern, whatever you want to call it. And
Right. Yeah.
and then there
So.
was the poster serialized version of Edgar Markov,
Yep.
um, which not all of those numbered Edgar Markovs have been found because not a lot of people opening up collector boosters of that set. Uh, it's very
Wow.
strange. Very strange.
I actually didn't realize that there were some of those still out there in the wild. So I might have
Oh
to,
yeah,
I might have to go scratch
and
those lotto tickets because
it's a
that's
pretty
yeah.
penny too. I think.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I don't know, but it's at least 2K, right, for like a serialized Edgar Markov. I have to
I don't
imagine.
I don't doubt it. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, and there was also the like the Fang border treatment or whatever. So like
yeah,
yeah, they went hard on this. Um, but at the same time, like if you're gonna do a reprint set, you take the most like valuable card from that plane and reprint it into the ground, or give us a million versions. Like cool.
yeah,
I appreciate that. But I think there were a number of different like showcase cards, and a lot of cards from that plane that were overdue for a reprint that finally got one. Like the one that for me was Hermit Druid. Like
Oh yeah,
this is one of those cards. Like as a graveyard commander player, like I had one copy of this thing, and it was like, it was one of those where like a buddy of mine gave it to me, and it was one of those where I gave him like 5 "Are you sure's" on that.
yeah.
Like because it felt very precious, and so now the fact that this is now back in the wild and getting in reprinted, sweet. Like I had assumed it was on the reserve list until they showed off that it was here. So there are a lot of those, in this set.
And one thing about this set is, so Hermit Druid used to be worth a bunch of money, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh
Like
yeah.
if you couldn't find an older version, it was very expensive. I think right now Hermit Druid's somewhere between like $5 and $7,
Yeah, yeah, it's like
which is incredibly
6-7
cheap.
bucks. Not bad at all. Yeah.
I think you can technically get like the special version is not too far off either in price. The poster art Hermit Druid,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool looking. Honestly, I like this kind of like horror-ish theme movie poster, but
Same.
I don't know how popular the different type of treatments are to people. It's very hard to gauge. I guess you got to be into whatever the aesthetic is of the artwork of these different types of showcase arts. Personally, I like them. The Meat Hook Massacre one was sweet as hell because one, we got a reprint of Meat Hook Massacre, even though that card technically has been a banned card. But yeah, some of them are easier to read than others, right? Some of them, they just make the text god awful to where you don't know what the card does. At least the majority of the text of this Meat Hook Massacre is on the bottom half of the card, so you can actually read what it does. As opposed to like, I don't know, the Hermit Druid one that you just showed had the text kind of everywhere on the card and not in a centralized location.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely feel that.
Oh yeah, no, now I can appreciate like movie posters or like old school comic serials, like that idea. Yeah, those are images that have a bunch of text all over the place on them. So like, okay, it's a cute excuse to work the text into kind of the aesthetic. But yeah, like this one, the rules text starts in the upper left, or like reveal cards from the top of your library, ... And then like tell you reveal the basic. Like what?
Yeah.
It's like trying to actually follow the flow of this to understand what the card does, like it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't. And let's not pretend that it does. It's one of those where like you're supposed to see Hermit Druid and know what the card does because you recognize the name. That's the intent with these showcase cards. And they kind of took that to the next level with like the amount of textless cards that they're putting out where they're not even bothering anymore, which like whatever. Like there's at least a level of honesty in those showcase treatments. Like whereas this, like integrating the text into it, it's a fun aesthetic. I like them. I think they're fun, but it's very they're kind of silly cosmetics. And fortunately, we live in a world where Scryfall is on our phones readily available, so it's all good.
And listen, I love textless cards back in the day. Remember they used to do a thing called Magic Player Rewards for my boomers in the chat, where you used to have your play was tracked via your DCI number fans. And the amount of play you did in store or at events was all tracked. And then based on your level of play, you got sent textless cards in the mail. You didn't have to go to your store. You didn't have to go to an event. Wizards of the Coast literally sent you a letter, and it had textless cards in it. And I remember playing with like Mana Leaks and Pyroclasms. What else? Mana Leaks, Pyroclasm, Stay of Judgments. Like there was a Damnation that was a foil, Negate. Yeah. This was great. You showed these off in your deck when you got them because they were a one of a kind. They were a one of a kind thing at the time. You couldn't open up a
Mm-hmm.
booster pack and get cards like this. And they
Right.
were definitely searched for at events. Like I remember going to your old PTQs where there were actual vendors there at events, and you would seek to buy these cards so you could play with
Oh
a
yeah.
matching playset of Negate or matching Terminate. Cryptic Command, iconic. This Cryptic Command was
I-
infinite dollars at one point. You
and
know,
it's still, I mean, Cryptic Command at this point is, you know, a $2 to $5 card or $3 to $5
right?
card. This one's still going for 20 because like it's just, of course
It's
it is.
beautiful,
It's
beautiful
gorgeous.
artwork.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
there's something about like, you know, casting it out and just being like, you know what modes I picked. Like, no, I don't. Like, you like what? Yeah. Who out there can recite all of the options on Cryptic Command by memory? You know. Well, if you were around back in the day, probably. But
yeah.
yeah. But anyway, it's delightful. I love that they did this. And funnily enough, too, this particular Cryptic Command became kind of a meme because it's a complicated card with a lot of text on it, right? It's got a lot
Yeah.
of stuff to remember. And so that became a joke that like, oh, this is the one that they picked for the Texas card that year. Like, or like this is
Right.
one of them. It was very silly. And they've clearly leaned into that
Yeah.
with some of their more recent, like, store promos where they've had, the store championship promos. The one that I still can't, like, Omnath Locus of Creation is available in textless. I think,
Yes.
I don't remember if it was this year or last year, but they did Urza's Saga.
Ursa Saga. I remember Ursa
Texas
Saga.
as well. It's like, what? Like, they really are just leaning into it. And it's hilarious. I love it.
No, these are
Yeah.
great. And hey, that sparks like a whole different conversation about what your store championship promo cards are, right? If they're supposed to be like
Mm-hmm.
chase cards to be worth like actual dollars, some of them aren't. Some of them are just hot garbage. I think most recently, a couple sets ago, because they were trying
Oh.
to do like color themes rather than
Mm.
necessarily on set. So when they did the black one, it was Deep Cavern Bat, Preacher of the Schism, and then Virtue of Persistence
Yep.
as your prize card. The red one was like Godric from Eldraine that
Right.
definitely is not played anymore
All right.
as your prize card. Meanwhile, when we had the Final Fantasy one, it was City of Brass, and that card is infinite dollars. Um, yeah, well, one because Final Fantasy, but that
Well,
one was
yeah.
$50. In fact, I have next to me. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see
Oh,
it. I not that card. That card I have that card because I won a store championship, so it's in a binder
heck yeah.
somewhere and it's gonna be there
Nice.
forever. Um, but I also won a store championship for some set after Final Fantasy. Don't ask me which one it is. But I
All
have
good.
a promo Fable of the Mirror Breaker that was like
Oh,
exclusive to that one, and it's cool looking art, but I only have
absolutely.
one, and this is a card you typically play in fours.
Right.
So now I gotta hunt down the other ones if I want to play with this card in a
Ooh.
format that's relevant. But it's pretty cool art. But they were doing textless store championship cards at some point, and so like the Urza Saga and stuff that you have seen. So at least
Yeah.
if you're gonna be on theme, just keep doing this theme of putting the Texas cards. I think that is like the way to go instead of mixing it up. But because I like kind of like the Texas cards.
Yeah, I do too. They're
Yeah.
definitely they stand out. They pop.
Hmm.
I mean, nowadays though, textless cards are I don't know. They're certainly not as special as they once were. And so I guess that there's a question to that.
Hmm.
Is that a good thing? Or is that okay? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because like, yeah, this past year, yeah, Godric was a textless promo,
Yeah.
and by the way, fun
It's like
fact,
I
this
don't
card,
need to know. I don't need to know what Godric does. Godric's hot garbage in standard
yeah,
right now,
Godric is
right?
now terrible, so who cares? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Fun fact, still legal in
and
standard.
it
This
and it
was
sucks too
like,
because it's
yeah,
amazing artwork. It looks
oh
sweet
yeah,
as hell.
card's gorgeous.
It's just
Yeah,
not playable anywhere. Like I don't want to. What may anytime you have like a store championship or whatever, if you're gonna do
hmm,
special cards like this, you're trying to garner people number one to come out and play standard, y'all, and
yes,
second, there's got to be incentive. You can't incentivize folks with And I know Wizards of the Coast does not care about the secondary market, okay? But you
Yeah.
have to make an incentive for people to come out and play. So you cannot print like your prize card to be Godric Cloaked Reveler and want people to take time of their day to come out and play in a store championship. You need more cards like Urza Saga, right? A card that you know is going to be worth dollars, that's going to be highly sought after, a prize card that people are out there actively trying to get, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
worth something. Textless Urza Saga, bad idea. I don't remember what the card does all the time. It's a
Yeah, no,
saga.
it's
It's
pretty
got 3
silly.
chapters for a reason. But I'll be
Mm-hmm.
damned if this foil Urza Saga full art isn't worth some amount of dollars, right? So
Right.
like you have to make an incentive for people to come out to your event. So make more cards like this that are playable, hopefully multiple format playable, that people want to get. Whether or
Yeah.
not the card's standard legal or not, right? So that I hope they do more of that.
Agreed. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, and like prior to the bans, like could you imagine what a textless Vivi would have gone for? I mean, like, if I'm not mistaken, Vivi was, like that would have drove attendance. Like that would have done work.
Yeah,
Even with
yeah.
the ban, they still probably could because it's the card is still sought after for commander and whatnot. So,
Yeah, they
um,
could do any Final Fantasy card and people would
yeah,
be there to play. It's just
yeah,
collectible, right? But sort of to bring it back to your original question, about the Texas cards,
yeah, yeah.
Full Art Basics used to be a special thing too. That was
Hmm.
notably from Zendikar, original Zendikar, and now we just get Full Art Basics in every set. We're way like past the point anyway where like they should stop doing that because they're doing it in every set. But I like that they're making special like full art basics for us, that
Yeah.
have different treatments. So like in Avatar, you had like the Avatar's Journey and you had the Appa lands, right?
Hmm.
Tarkir had the Dragon Eye lands, which were great, but they were extremely difficult to pull out of boosters.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And yeah, and then they didn't always come in foil in the collector boosters. You could get a non-foil Dragon Island out of a collector booster, and it was
Hmm.
rare for you to get foil one. So I guess like that kind of chase is kind of okay. I just want consistency. Like there should be no reason to just have every Tarkir collector booster should have had a full art Dragonland, whether or not it was foil. But you could pull not a you could pull not a Dragon Eye full art basic out of a collector
Right.
booster. That was kind of like beat, right? Because you're
Right.
already spending premium dollar for premium product. So
Yeah, I'm of the opinion. Yeah, I mean, there's the Dragon Shadowlands were also looked pretty cool, but like, yeah, those should have been givens. I
yeah,
mean, like with the thing that it's funny. I like the full art lands. Like when it comes to lands specifically, I really like that they've done that. I like that there is kind of your typical full art that really just showcases the setting without
yeah.
the text box. And then like the super chase promo version or whatever. Like I like that we have those. The thing that I do
Hmm.
wonder as it relates to lands specifically is, do we need the traditional basic frame anymore? I
I
mean, it's
mean,
classic and I love it, but like, does it make sense for them to print new versions of these? Like, this is art they have to commission. These are, and I don't think anyone's happy to see them necessarily. Like,
at this point, if you're gonna do 2 different types of full art basics, you probably should do one of the types of full art basics as the card you are guaranteed to get out of the
mhm.
booster pack,
Yeah,
and then have occasionally the chase rare one that might show off, right?
I
Or
love that. Yes.
keep the other one exclusive to collector boosters if you really want, right? But at this point, yeah, just have them commission to do the whole card rather than just show off part of the card for this, right?
Right.
It's not like there's text on here that says taps add green mana, right? They
It-
stopped this very, very, very long time ago.
right. Exactly.
So yeah, 100%. They should just be all full art at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Cool.
for
So
the
yeah,
same
we're in agreement.
argument, like even the land station that they send free to the LGSs, what difference is it to print just the full art basics for free to give to folks
Yeah.
rather than just these? Yeah.
Well, and how cool would it be if your land station was full of full of full arts? I think that'd be neat.
Right.
Like, yeah. And it's not like these full arts right now are like huge money cards or anything.
No,
Not necessarily. So yeah.
Craziness.
Neato. But yeah. So as far as the textless stuff, when I think about the move to textless and some of the stuff they're doing with non-text cards, I can't help but think about like the new cards from Avatar that are in a standard legal set. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these treatments only come out of collector boosters, which I appreciate, because like you're not going to be drafting and all of a sudden a textless card is going to come your way, because that would be a horrible gameplay experience. And we saw that with I believe it was in, I think it was Phyrexia LB1, where at the Pro Tour, actually, I think it was Pro Tour Philly that year, where Reed Duke actually drafted a Phyrexian language version Luca.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and while you're drafting at the Pro Tour, you can't pull your phone out, and so you know, the -4 or the -1, it's like a bite effect where you like a creature deals damage, and he thought it was a fling, which reasonable assumption, but like, so as a result, sacrifice a creature that he didn't have to because he literally could not read the card to have it explain the card. So I don't think we're ever going to see that again. I think Wizards learned their lesson that like illegible cards in play boosters is a horrible idea. Don't do that. But at the same time, like illegible cards in collector boosters, apparently that's in bounds.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess there also is the argument, just playing devil's advocate here. Don't say I agree with it, but you know, I guess there also is the argument that keeping things like keeping all the fun stuff specific to collector boosters, even though it is a premium product, is like not great for the masses who might not be purchasing that product, right?
True.
So like if you really wanted a Phyrexian language Luca, you really hope that you can open it up out of your pre-release kit, like I get it. And it kind of reminds me too of, do you remember when they had Urza Academy Headmaster, the Planeswalker, where the ability literally said go to askurza.com in order to play it? I mean, granted, we're talking about a card that isn't in a standard set, right? It's in an unset. But you +1, -1, or -6 to head to askurza.com to figure out what the ability is. So I guess I kind of put these on the same level of equal, not knowing what the card does, because if I have to look up what my card does anyway, then it's probably fine. And I don't even know if askurza.com is actually hold on.
Is it still
We're gonna do
up?
it so you don't have to.
Well,
I don't know that it's a website that works, but I think it redirects you. Yeah, it redirects you to Urza's Funhouse, which is showing you an Infinity set symbol thing, and you can download. Yeah, select the ability you're using. Yeah. I see. So it's a differently styled website now, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, so askurza.com redirects to Magic's resources thing. Yeah.
And I'm actually on Scryfall right now to pull up the image for the video feed, and they actually have buttons for the different things.
Oh, wow.
And Scryfall actually does pull up, and so they do have somebody scripted all the things for the different Urza. So like I just pressed Ask Urza +1 until your next turn creature control get +1/+0 and gain lifelink.
Beautiful.
-1. Urza deals 3 damage to each creature. Sick. Like it just pulls up a little light box. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it does all the things. That's actually hilarious. So you can go to Scryfall with this, and it'll get you what you need to, which is awesome.
W Scryfall.
But right there, so in order to come up with a comparison for like when talking about textless cards and like looking at a card not literally having no idea what it looks like, you referenced a card from Unstable. Like this is meant to be a silver bordered goof that is a parody of Magic cards. So this was never intended to be mechanically the norm. Like this was a joke. Like
right.
And I know we've seen it as well. Another one, whenever you see Urza Headmaster, I have to mention another card that is digital only, which is Davriel Soul Broker. This has another similar vibe, which it's played straight, but it only works in a digital environment because it literally, like, it's funny. I've seen a printout of all the different things that Davriel can spin into, and it's like a 2-page document. It's ridiculous. So like the amount of text that is on this card, it is, well, it's more than can be on a card, just by its very nature. But this is digital only, and this is one of those where they haven't really gone back to this well since, I think, the Battle for Baldur's Gate. You could argue that they did some similar stuff with some of the like 6-sided things.
Yes.
Yeah, because backgrounds are too hard to program, I guess. Sure. Anyway, well, actually, what it was they didn't want to integrate a commander-specific mechanic onto Arena, but whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so Davriel Soulbroker, +1 until your next turn, whenever an opponent attacks you or a planeswalker you control, you discard a card. If they can't, sacrifice attacking creature. Okay, fine. -2, accept one of Davriel's offers, then accept one of Davriel's conditions. That's it. That's all it says. And so, yeah. So it literally has to like check a database to figure out what it's going to, like it randomly select entries from a database to, and
then it only shows you 3.
Yeah.
And then you only get to see another random 3 for the conditions. Yeah.
Well, and so as a result, like the power of this card is unpredictable. And so as a result, people don't play this. Like even when it first came out, people weren't really into it. And it's a mythic wild card. So like that's not cheap on Arena. Yeah, so it's very silly. And so this is one of those where, yeah, there's a reason we don't see stuff like this in paper. And I don't think we will. I feel like they kicked the tires on it and they went flat immediately and we're like, never mind, we're out. So, which I think is fine. That's for the best. I'm glad they took a swing. That one, that was a swing and a miss. So let's move on to the next, you know? And fun fact, actually, this is also just a little piece of trivia for all you Arena nerds out there, which we see you, we love you. This actually is not an alchemy card. It reads like an alchemy card. This predates alchemy. Right. Yeah. This was Jumpstart Historic Horizons. This was a set that came out alongside the first Jumpstart product that introduced that actually introduced mechanically unique digital cards. And then they announced alchemy like I feel like 2 or 3 months later. To which a lot of us who were around the whole time were like, but wait, those digital designs kind of sucked. Why are we doing more of those?
Right.
But anyway, but yeah, that was years ago now. That's old news. Let's get back to the reminiscing at hand.
So we talked about Innistrad.
Yeah, Innistrad remastered. It kicked off the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that was Aether Drift. And
Aether Drift, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, which again, so yeah, I loved Aether Drift. I thought it was actually really fun. I was ready to hate it. I was ready to laugh at it the entire time. And then I actually got my hands on the cards. Well, and also, on a personal note, Innistrad Remastered and Aether Drift were the first 2 sets where I actually got to be an ambassador. Wizards actually hooked me up and helped me be part of the pushes on those. And that was really fun. And my very first preview card was in Aether Drift, so I'm a huge sucker for that set. They gave me the dad joke, and I got to preview Gas Guzzler. I was so excited. So to this day,
yes,
I want
Stiller. Yes.
The Ben Stiller vampire. Yeah. Yep. So when it comes to 2025, as far as I'm concerned, it was a great year for Magic. Because I got a freaking preview card, you guys. That's anyway. Yeah, and so this is one of those. I'm still trying to figure out how to make this card work in Standard. It's not great.
No.
But yeah, no. I actually just recently did I built an Orzhov sack deck that has Start Your Engines in it, and I didn't include it. Like that's the deck that wants this, and it's like, nah, we're good.
It's so interesting. I mean, I guess I am of the opinion that Aether Drift is a very underrated Magic set. To me, the most underrated Magic set of 2025. If you take a look at a lot of the cards that have come out since Aether Drift, a lot of them work really well with the Aether Drift cards. Aether Drift has bangers in the set that are largely overlooked. I guess I'll reference Chandra Sparkhunter first.
Oh my goodness.
Because I think Chandra Sparkhunter is an amazing Planeswalker card for Standard, right? Like outside of the realm of Standard, probably not great. I mean, you might get some extra value if you were playing like this in some vehicle decks in Commander or something like this. But, recently in Avatar, we saw Phoenix Fleet Airship, and Chandra Sparkhunter works incredibly well with that card because you get to automatically crew a vehicle every turn. It doesn't have to be the vehicle that Chandra creates. Um, and we've been toying around with this Rakdos sack deck that largely is around Phoenix Fleet Airship, but Chandra is a very integral part of that deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chandra just gets better. It's like the perfect example of a planeswalker that gets better the better cards you print to play with it. So that means you need like some really, really good vehicles to animate. Um, or if you want to play an artifact based deck with it, that ultimate is pretty good.
Oh
Seeing
yeah.
how you can get it in 2 turns, right? And just start lightning bolting things when you get to put artifacts in play. Um, so yeah, I mean, in terms of underrated cards, Chandra is the first one that comes to mind. But hello, this set also had Ketramos, and Ketramos was a mainstay in Modern only up until recently
Yeah.
in the Orzhov Blink deck. Whole deck around Ketramos and like blinking out some other targets like Felia and stuff like this, which would trigger Ketramos to lose a life, draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not worth as much money as when it originally came out. I remember when Ketramos is like a $30-some card. Um, Now it's probably sitting at, I don't know, like the alternate art you could probably pick up for like $5, maybe. Yeah, so, I mean, all the Ketromoses are probably somewhere between $5 and $10, so you probably should get them
Yeah.
now while they're cheap because card is very good. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I lots of very underrated cards in this set.
Agreed. The one that came to my mind immediately was Lumbering Worldwagon, which granted I'm a bit of a
Oh
Timmy,
yeah,
but like holy cow, this thing like it's so much better than it reads. Like it punches up every time. In my experience anyway. It's a freaking rampant growth titan for 3 that that can have massive power. Like it enters, gets you value, and your opponent has to answer it. Like when I first saw this, I thought crew 4, there's no way. But then I realized, like, wait a minute, it just ramped me. So playing a big creature into this is actually not that hard. And when you
yeah.
compare when this card opened up for me when Esper Origins showed up. Because Summon Madeline can crew it, and like the moment that like clicked together, it's like, oh, hold up, wait a minute, it got really good. So anyway, this is one of those cards where every time I play with it, it overperforms,
And
and
you're
and
talking
I
about
think it's still, yeah,
You're talking
it's
about the
still one of the.
landfall deck right now in standard. Lumbering World Wagon's
Oh
a
my
huge part of
goodness,
that, and be able to one-shot your opponent in one turn.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
So yeah,
it's
it's
nuts.
Lumbering World Wagon is great.
Yeah,
High crew cost, but it's a solid piece of ramp for 3 mana that your
mm-hmm.
opponent really can't interact with. 3 mana guaranteed mana source in terms of searching for a basic, and then can
Mm-hmm.
crew and ramp you more. So yeah, I love this card.
Yeah, this is
Um,
absolutely just a blanket permission to everyone to live their big Timmy dreams. Like that's what this looks like to me, and I'm here for it. Yeah.
The other card that's played a lot in standard right now, i.e., Is It Lessons, is Monument to Endurance, also from Aether Drift,
Oh my goodness,
right?
yes.
You're talking about card in World's winning deck, Grand's best friend,
So good.
whatever you want to call it. But the Monument to Endurance, you can bounce it. You might be able to take some things back. Who knows? And then replay it and get some more triggers again. Monument to Endurance is a pretty sweet magic card. And before Is It Lessons, there was a Boros Monument deck. I don't know if you remember this, but in a previous iteration of Standard, there was a Boros deck centered around Monument to Endurance and discarding cards. So it
Mm.
saw its light of play. It went away for a little bit. Now it's definitely back with Grand and all the other like looting style effects that exist together with artist talent from Bloomborough. Um, it's in Aether Drift, y'all.
It's
And
Aether Drift.
the reason I keep saying that it's underrated set is because right now you can actually buy Aether Drift sealed product for incredibly cheap because nobody wants it. Especially the collector boosters. I like collector boosters. Talk about a product that's selling for under MSRP. You could walk into your LGS right now and probably buy an actual $20 collector booster of Aether Drift. And granted, the cards might not be worth much, but they're all standard playable, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least with the better cards they start printing in the new sets. These got the verges. Your
The Verges,
your
yes.
Is It Verge is like almost a $20 card for River Pyre Verge, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh my
But
goodness.
it's got 5 of the Verges
Oh
in the
yeah.
set, and those you need to play in Standard, and they only get better with the Shocklands that will come in Lorwyn. Um, Shocklands and Verges are best friends, so like these cards go up in price, not down.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I need to go buy some Aether Drift. You're selling me on this really, really hard. Well done, man. Yeah, and I was already on it. So I feel like the perception, I see with Aether Drift the same thing that we saw with Murders at Karlov Manor, which is something that, like,
Yeah.
I feel like people look at the set holistically and see the aesthetic and weight that very heavily. You know, it's like, oh, it's the Wacky Races Goofy Mario Kart set. Why would I want that? It's like, well, we just gave you a ton of examples and there are still plenty more that we haven't even touched on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the end of the day, the set is riddled with bangers. It's just, there are tons of awesome cards. So yeah, even if you just have to kind of hold your nose when looking at the artwork, these are all playable strong cards. They just are. And I feel like we need to not forget just the general power level. Like, how does it play? The set plays really well. So, like, if that's really what matters, which I think the vast majority of us would agree that that is really what matters first and foremost over aesthetics.
And I think, you know, just in general, I think a lot of Magic players are very, very quick to judge something at face value rather than look at the grand scope of things. And we've talked about this a lot in terms of like power level of Standard, where, you know, the power creep of cards are just so great, right? We're not talking about OG Lorwyn times. We're talking about now, and the cards just being so powerful. Aether Drift at face value didn't present any powerful cards. It didn't really impact Standard right away, and a large part of why the set was not popular. But now that they're designing the sets 3 years out, right, and they're playtesting the cards and like, how can we get these cards to interact with the not so powerful Aether Drift cards anymore? And that it's clear that, you know, when I say that Aether Drift has bangers now, it's because the cards are great. The cards are great with the newer cards that are being printed.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that touches on something else. The designing for 3 years. That is something that we've talked about quite a bit in the past, and I feel like I have a new understanding of what that means. I know when I first heard the idea of like, okay, now we're getting to a point where we're designing for 3 years. I assumed that that meant we would see synergies across sets that are farther apart, you know, and like creature types mattering, or like, you know, different areas where cards would interact with one another in cool, interesting, intentional ways. And we're seeing some of that. That it's not that that doesn't exist, but the other side of that I think really, I feel like Avatar really, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit here, but I feel like Avatar really exemplifies this. It also means that the cards they're printing need to be powerful enough to make waves in Standard. When they're competing with more cards. So it feels to me like power creep has actually sped up quite a bit. Is that just me being reactionary or being a little bit emotional, or do you think that there's something to that?
Well, they told you when they did the stream where they banned VV, right? They banned VV Profs and Screaming Nemesis. They told you on that stream that there are too many sets for them to playtest in Standard. They told you, the playtest team, the team that literally playtests the cards when they design them, told you that there are too many sets in Standard for them to catch any particular mistake. They admitted to it. So 1, they playtest the cards.
Yes.
2, they're telling you that there are too many sets that exist in the Standard format for them to catch everything, or for them to playtest properly, right? You only get that result if you actually playtest the cards. So it is what it is. 7 sets in Standard in 2026 coming up. If the trajectory stays the same, let's say they go back to 6 sets in Standard for 2027. Standard is a 3-set format. So at any point in time, you will have 6, 7, 6. So 19 sets in standard over a 3-year period, right? What is the likelihood that you have what is the likelihood that set 3 years from now, set number 5 has a broken card that interacts with 3 years before set number 2, right? I.e., Cauldron and Vivi, right?
Yes.
They literally they tried to tell you when they banned Vivi that they missed it because there's too many sets, so they didn't realize the interaction that it would have. But even though Vivi was a redesigned card, there are two different issues when it comes to the Vivi problem. One, originally Vivi had a tap ability, it was not a mana ability for 0. And 2, they said that they didn't catch the interaction with the older cards because there's too many sets in standard. So, playtest, yes, but too many sets in standard for them to catch any potential problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and the fact is though, they're not slowing down. You will not expect a slowdown of sets in standard. It's just not happening, right?
Right.
So, I don't complain about it because I know that it's not going to end. They're just going to keep doing the same amount of sets. Whether or not that many sets belong in standard, I don't agree with it. I don't think we need 7 sets in standard a year. I don't think we need 6 sets in standard a year. Personally, I wish they would go back to having 4 sets in standard a year and then release supplemental products for non-standard formats, whether that they want that to be, extra commander product, but the fact is it's not happening.
Right. It's what it is.
It's not happening. We don't control business. We don't control we're not a part of Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast. It doesn't matter what we do. Right?
Yeah.
The companies are going to do what they want to make money. Yeah.
Well, and at the end of the day, they haven't reached the bubble hasn't burst yet. Like they can continue to push this product amount and the market is supporting it. So until the day comes when we do hit that, when we get to a point where it stops being profitable or profitable enough, and we'll see.
Yeah.
I know I personally would prefer things to slow down just so that I believe standard play would be significantly better if this changed. And we could get back to a smaller standard, but yeah, you're right. That's not changing anytime soon. We're going to have 7 sets this year, and how many of them will be seen as duds? We had 6 sets this year, and like actual factual duds, we had Spider-Man. And even then, I think the sales numbers might be okay on that. Like, I'm not privy to those numbers, but like the community kind of acknowledges that that's a dud. And some people would argue that Aether Drift or Edge were maybe not great because of their theming, but at the end of the day, I believe they sold well, like as far as in-universe sets go. Right. So like, I don't know about you guys. I know I was hungry for in-universe stuff. Yeah. And Edge actually won me over. It was the other one. The in-universe sets didn't necessarily feel like in-universe sets at first until we actually got our hands on them, and then I think they did. Funnily enough, it was weird how that lined up. We talked about that with Aether Drift, and we could kind of copy paste a lot of those points onto Edge of Eternities, I think. But yeah, so when it comes to the trajectory of standard, I do feel like the quality of the gameplay, it is hurting, and I feel like we do need to acknowledge it. And I respect your decision to not complain about it. Like, that makes sense, because like ultimately, what is that going to accomplish other than just getting people worked up? Like, at the end of the day, I know if I just scream about stuff, all I do is get angry. So what's the value there? But at the same time, like, I can't deny that it's frustrating. I can't deny that I miss old standard. But the flip side of that, though, is we can complain until we're blue in the face and accomplish very little. Also, here on the live stream, Mythic Maria coming in with the rated 94. Maria, you're the best.
Hey, Maria.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
And welcome, Raiders. We are actually recording an episode of the MagicJank podcast, available anywhere podcasts are sold. Normally, we record these later in the evenings, but we're doing a live version because Carlo here doesn't have to work this week, so we can make it happen. But yeah, Maria, thank you so much. You're the best. Also, anybody listening on the podcast feed, go follow twitch.tv/mythicmaria. She's lovely. Well, yeah, thank you so much. Hope you had an amazing stream. Yeah, Multiclee, thank you for the follow as well. All right. But yeah, we were just talking about standard and it's and the way that it is the sheer volume of product being printed into it and its effects. Like right now, so looking at Scryfall and just doing a search for cards that are legal in standard right now. And no, we have 7 more sets that are coming into standard before the next rotation. There are 3,715 uniquely named cards legal in the format.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
That is freaking bonkers. That is just actually factually bonkers. Well, I mean, and this is the smallest we're going to see it for the foreseeable future.
Correct.
How do you feel about that? Because I feel like my tone is making it pretty clear how I feel about it.
Well, I mean, that really brings about to talking about your point on power creep, right?
Yeah.
It's how effective are the older printed cards that currently exist in standard when the more recent sets have cards more powerful than the last, right?
Yeah.
So like, you really have to evaluate the standard sets for how powerful that they are, one at face value, and how more important the cards become when they're printing cards that synergize with the older ones. Like, you have to do that, or otherwise you make the older sets in standard essentially obsolete, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, Duskmourn. When Duskmourn came out, I would say Duskmourn is probably one of the most powerful sets in standard until recently, right? You're talking about like the glimmers, right? So like the enduring cycle's pretty good. The overlords were fantastic and very powerful. That set has Fear of Missing Out. It has Kaido. It has Valgavoth. Those cards, very powerful, right? In relation to the other sets that existed at standard now at the same time. Bloomburrow and Duskmourn came out at the same time. Bloomburrow wasn't as powerful as Duskmourn at face value, but there's a lot of powerful cards in Bloomburrow that do interact now currently with other cards. Stormchaser's Talent, a card that should have been banned a while ago in standard, by the way, instead of This Town Ain't Big Enough, while we're on that topic, right? Yep. They banned the wrong card then. But here we are. Very, very powerful Magic cards, multi-format playable cards are in Bloomburrow. So when you're taking sets like this, Duskmourn, Bloomburrow, in comparison to Aether Drift at face value, it's very clear that Aether Drift significantly powered down at the time. When you take a look at sets now, like Avatar is basically a Modern Horizons set in standard, which is what we feared from some of the Universes Beyond product, right? Not to talk about a derailed topic on Universes Beyond, but we would worry that these cards weren't originally designed for standard, but they are. But the power level of the set is very powerful, right? Whereas Universes Beyond Spider-Man set, not great, right? Not very powerful. Very low in terms of impactful cards on the standard format. Even though Spider-Man was a set designed for standard, but it was designed as a Beyond product, meaning like a small set like Assassin's Creed and Aftermath was, so they had to fill it with commons and uncommons for a draft. Set not powerful, right? Very low and not popular, right?
Well, and there's like only one card that I can think of that is seeing any amount of play in standard, and that's Superior Spider-Man / Kaveru the Mind Bitten for Arena folks.
Yes.
Like that one allowed an archetype to kind of show up, and then, but other than that, like what's number 2 in this set? Like,
Detect Intrusion. I'm sorry, that's not the Spider-Man version. Spider Sense.
Spider Sense? Okay.
Spider Sense is Detect Intrusion and Omen Paths, right? That's counter instant, sorcery, or triggered ability. That's a playable card. Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah, Stifle, ish. Okay, yeah.
Remember when we thought that Spider-Punk was going to get played in Standard?
Dude, I sure did.
Because that's, like, kind of a good card, but it's not great.
It reads really nicely. Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
But, no.
It's not good enough, yeah.
Nope, not really at all. It's a 2-drop red creature that is, like, oddly defensive, Like it's trying to stop counter spells or stop fog effects, which, okay, red decks want that, but at the end of the day, like, it only gives Riot to other spiders, so what are the chances that you have other spiders in your deck? Because as we've established, most of the other spiders aren't good, so, like, there's that. Yeah, and, like, why in the world would I play this when, like, Emberheart Challenger is available? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
So, we might get to a point, I'm not saying this, maybe if I'm predicting in advance, let me know in a year. But if we're taking a look at Standard as a whole, and we're like, okay, Spider-Man was this very and I know we're going out of order, y'all, but we know that Spider-Man was a very underperforming set, both from a perspective of business and from the effect of Standard, like the card's power level in Standard. We again said the same thing about Aether Drift when Aether Drift came out. So maybe they are going to be designing cards that interact well with the Spider-Man cards in future sets. I don't know, but it might be a thing. So
possible. Yeah, it's possible. And actually, Summer in the chat called out Jackal, Genius Geneticist. The Simic decks, especially in Best of One on Arena, are absolutely running this. So fair point. Yeah, that's all right. That one's seeing some play.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah, we've got 3 cards from that set, so yeah, I'll take it.
And I mean, while we're on the topic of Spider-Man,
yes,
since we're on that set, I know we're out of order, and that's totally fine.
Totally.
But Spider-Man is interesting because we had flip cards again in it. There was the mention of somebody mentioned Fleam in the chat. Yeah.
Fleam. I love Fleam.
Listen, aka Norman Osborn / Green Goblin, and the card isn't great, but like,
not really.
Yeah, it's not a great card.
I built Norman Osborn in Commander because it's Grixis, and the Norman is a 2-drop that can connive, and so I immediately saw that. It's like, oh, I have access to Grixis colors, and my Commander helps fill my graveyard. So let me just build a good stuff Grixis Reanimator deck. And when I did that, I literally printed off a copy of Fleam and put it in the sleeve as the backside, in a clear sleeve, because I wanted Fleam in my command zone, because Fleam's the best. Yeah, Fleam Gobin's creation. It's the digital only version, but I promote everyone proxying this because it's great, and Fleam deserves to be in paper. Just saying. Also, actually, talk about a win. One huge win that came out of the Spider-Man set that I want to applaud Wizards for is the response to Fleam. So through the Omen Paths versions of all the Spider-Man cards, I think it's pretty clear that they used a lot of slush art that they had lying around, or like, I wouldn't be surprised if they commissioned a couple specific pieces here and there, but like, it definitely felt kind of cobbled together, kind of what you'd expect. But it was not bad. Like, I feel like Omen Paths actually was pretty well done for what it was. It could have been so much worse. And so, Goben, Gene Splice Savant, is just generic mad scientist guy who's, the Norman Osborn equivalent. But Fleam is the backside version, which actually, looking at it, it's Goben's creation, but like the human figure that's on the ground looking up at Fleam, I don't think that really looks that much like Goben it doesn't look like those 2 pieces of artwork were designed, and like even the color palette in the like environment is different. Like, it does not look like those arts were made to go together. Which, whatever, it's fine. But the whole community immediately upon Fleam being revealed, if you were on TikTok or Instagram or Blue Sky, or if you're still over on X, which I know some people still are, but if you're on social media when this dropped, it was Fleam as far as the eye could see. So I suspect a lot of Magic players who didn't play Arena were like, what the heck is this like bat thing? What are people talking about? And at the end of the day, it's just a goopy, or just a little derpy flying goblin. And we all love him. That's it. That's all there is to it. And when the community just exploded and just was talking about Fleam all over the place, and it became this viral thing, Wizards responded by making the Fleam avatar and Fleam sleeves available on Arena like within a week. In terms of like development, and given the quality control and all the stuff that I'm sure is involved in pushing code out to the arena client, the speed with which they did that was actually very impressive. And like they acknowledged the moment and really went for it. And I think that was cool. And I really want to give Wizards a lot of credit for identifying and listening to the community, noticing a moment and kind of riding it and really leaning into it. I gotta say, I think that was really cool. So I love Fleam, and I love what Fleam represents, because the whole community, especially at a time when they were trying to push loot so hard, like, oh, loot is adorable, loot's cute, loot's the best, and you have this like people are like, meh, he's fine, I guess, or like a ton of people are pretty. Yeah,
loot's about to cause a reality fracture in 2026, is what I heard.
I'll be interested to see what exactly that means. That's going to be that is going to be either. We don't know what reality fracture is. There's some rumors floating around about it. It's going to be the last set this year, right? In 2026.
The last in-universe set in 2026.
It'll be very interesting to see what realities are getting fractured. I'm curious and nervous, but I love the fact that like they were pushing loot so hard, and like loot was kind of mixed reviews, 50-50. Like I think loot's fine. But I don't really love loot. Like loot's cool. Like I like him in the story. Like I care about him. I want him to be okay. But at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna buy something just because loot's on it. However, like if there were Fleam like deck boxes and like Fleam plushies, I might pull the trigger on those. I'm not gonna lie, because like I think
there were loot plushies. I remember I have one. I mean, it's not a plushie. It almost was like one of those plush dice bags. Yeah, I think it was Ultra Pro or whatever company made it. And I remember getting it at PAX Unplugged maybe 2 years ago or something. And I remember getting it, and I guess there was only a limited number of them pushed out to the market. So, like, I came back from PAX with this. I put it on the internet. Whatever social post I made blew up. Where do I get one? And, like, LGSs only were allotted, like, 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, no.
And, yeah. And I was like, I didn't know this was... It's not really limited edition. I'm sure you can find one on Amazon now. They're probably in more production. But it's, like, a little loot dice bag looking thing. And, yeah. So, it is Luna's loot. It is somewhere here.
I love that. No, and that's great. And those little that's adorable and an excellent piece of merch for that character. But the fact that like those were available, like loot was very intentional. Loot was engineered to be the cute mascot. It was like, we need a Pikachu. Loot, go. Meanwhile, Fibblethip is like, yo, what up? I've been here this whole time. Which
listen, Fibblethip gets used a lot, by the way.
It's true.
Anytime they do the MagicCon promotions, it's literally a whole thing that you can do at MagicCon. You go on your MagicCon app, and you are trying to find loot all around... not loot, Fibblethip all around the MagicCon show floor, and it's crazy.
And I do love that Fibblethip, the whole idea of like being lost, and so that they've leaned onto Fibblethip for like marketing their conventions and being like a key element of conventions. That's cute. It works. So you're right. They use Fibs plenty, and like he's getting plenty of love, which Fibbletips do, in my opinion. So I have no issue with that. But Fleam is just organically what the community wanted in such a cool way, and I just love that. I love that they responded, and I fully expect to see Fleam represented in more ways moving forward once they have an opportunity to really put stuff in the works. Like, I would be shocked if after Fleam blew up, they weren't on the phone with like merchandising partners talking about getting the plush dice bags made up with Fleam, and like and that's if that's not in the works,
for future MagicCon, right? Or for future MagicCon, do like exactly. A MagicCon exclusive, yeah.
I have no doubt. And like if Fleam keychains are not going to be available somewhere in 2026, I'll be confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anything, maybe it gives them, I mean, obviously we don't know because it's Omen Pathed, right? So there is no like origin story about Fleam or Gobin anywhere. So like maybe they are using it as a testing ground to say, okay, which of these cards or characters that were created into Omen Path cards are we going to be interested in visiting in future Magic in universe
Yeah,
products or planes, right? Like, where is Gobin from? Gobin's a mad scientist. He could be from any plane, right?
pretty
So
much.
then where is Fleem from? So I mean, I can't believe that it'll be like the last time that we see these characters in Magic in general. But also remember, and I don't know that this is true for the next Marvel set, because the next Marvel set is superheroes, right, in
Mm-hmm.
2026. But they had lined up to where all of the Marvel sets might just be through the Omen Path sets for Arena, right? They told us that before Spider-Man came out.
Right.
So maybe we get to see Fleem version 2 and Gobin version 2 in Omen Paths 2. Who knows?
It's possible. Yeah. Yeah. I'm very curious what they're going to do with the Omen Paths moving forward. And yeah, I guess like while we're here, let's talk about Omen Paths as a whole. So like Spider-Man, and you know the Spider-Man Omen Paths situation, the fact that through the Omen Paths is a completely reskinned version of the Spider-Man set, and the fact that Paper and Arena are not fully synced up. I think everybody acknowledges that that sucks. Like, I don't think I've seen the most positive, encouraging, apologetic, like enthusiastic champions of this game who are the most optimistic Wizards apologists on the planet say, "Oh, that's a misstep. That bites." Like nobody. I don't hear anybody trying to defend Omen Paths. That said, and so the fact that it exists, universally problematic. Whatever. Like it would be better if Paper and Arena were fully matched up and there were no differences between the two. We can all agree on that. It is what it is. It's confusing. It's cumbersome. Whatever. But how do you feel about their execution? Because like we're talking about Gobin and Fleem being more memorable and more fun than Norman Osborn and Green Goblin. And I feel like there are a couple of other examples within this set of like some really cool cards that actually work with the Through the Omen Paths version. Are there like the first one that comes to my mind? I'll kick it to you in a second, but I'm trying to tee this up, and I'm just gonna run with it. Vigo, Enforcer of Ig's Crossing, is the in-universe flavored version of Venom. Eddie Brock.
Yeah,
and this card tells like Eddie Brock turning into Venom, being like a hero villain is like an interesting, he's the interesting villain that has been given the hero arcs, so they gave him both types. Cool. And like if you're familiar with the character in the comics or the movies, like it makes sense and it jives. But Vigo is this other character who's from, I believe, an unknown plane. Like Ig's Crossing isn't an established place anywhere. The fact that he's like, it looks like he's roughing up kind of a wolf person definitely gives me like Innistrad vibes, but it's not necessarily clearly that what's going on here. Mm-hmm. But you have a very much high fantasy, like town thug, strong arm kind of person. And it's Enforcer of Ig's Crossing, and then when he flips into the end of Ig's Crossing. And so it tells this like interesting story about a symbiote of some kind taking over Vigo and ruining what was Vigo's home, presumably. But like we don't know necessarily the details. But what I see here is like an Enforcer of Ig's Crossing, like, the chief of police, presumably, which could be, a corrupt street thug, or it could be somebody who's trying to do the best and protect his home and the people he loves. Like, who knows? But then flipping into a malevolent force of destruction is like, wait, what? Like, I want to know more.
It reminds me of Innistrad, because Innistrad invaded by the Eldrazi. You had a character normal that transformed into an Eldrazi, right? So this fits perfect in that aesthetic. But having to keep them creature typed equal to the cards in Spider-Man doesn't, right? So here's that aesthetic that we've seen before in Innistrad, but instead of an Eldrazi, it is a symbiote, and it's still being destructive as Eldrazi do.
Right.
In terms of the artwork.
And it's funny, I suppose, Eldrazi and Phyrexians both have the like show up and corrupt stuff vibe. So the fact that the symbiotes could be another one of those, like, all right, fair enough. That like maybe we've gone back to that well enough times, but I still think it's an interesting story, and I'm still not mad at it. It's in my head that's still a trope. It's not quite a cliche yet, but I can appreciate it if you disagree. The other thing about it though is the symbiotes. Symbiote is such a weird type line. And you could use that, like they could have easily like referenced Eldrazi as like a potential symbiotic corrupting force. But in this set, all of the symbiotes have similar art and a similar aesthetic. Like every single one of them, which is kind of wild. So they all have this like spiky exoskeleton kind of appearance that is like far more cohesive than I would have guessed anything in Through the Omen Paths was gonna be. You know, so like Desecrex, Gift of Servitude, or like Verilax, the Haven Skin, they all have they have distinct bodies, but they have kind of this open cavity, and they're interacting and like taking control of creatures in different ways. Like, I don't know, it's consistent. Like the symbiotes are consistent and something we haven't seen before.
I agree, but then you take a look at some of the spider arts, and they're just not great. It's almost just like floating heads on spider bodies. I know that's not what they're supposed to be, but it's what it looks like to me when I take a look at it. You know, cards like whatever Spectacular Spider-Man's equivalent is, because it's like also kind of played. What is it called in Standard? Or on Omen Paths? It is.
Oh, that one is
Spectacular Spider-Man is
Ademi of the Silk Shoots.
Yeah, bring up Ademi's artwork, please, because I will never get over this because it makes zero sense. It's literally floating head on a spider body. To me, maybe the spider is on Ademi's back.
Yes,
right, but that's not what the artwork looks like. to me, anyway.
That's so funny. I think what it is, I think Ademi is a human that is on the bottom of a spider, and the spider has like webbed itself to them. Like you can see like this arm clearly like kind of ends in a human hand. But you're right, at first glance that absolutely looks like just a dude's face on a spider. And it's like, what is that?
And that's to the point. I know someone has said it in the chat. It looks like a lot of the artwork is very low res art. So when you take a look at when you look at it from that perspective, low res, the face does not come out fully as you want it to be, which makes the artwork look like this. Like I'm sure if this was actually a physical Magic card in higher res, that this artwork would look differently, and you could distinguish better that this is a human body with a spider on the back. Right. My eyes just don't do that from first look. I see human head attached to spider somehow, and it's a lot of the spider cards that are in this set that do something similar.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Well, and I think it doesn't help that like the spider and the human are like on the same color palette, and like one of the spider's arms is like wrapped around, or like the spider's front arms are apparently like it appears, and I'm having to kind of strain my eyes and really focus on this in a way that I haven't done. And I've played this card before, and I haven't really like stopped and looked at it. It looks like the spider's front two arms are like wrapped around Ademi's chest, and then you also have the question is Ademi the human or the spider? Because the type line represents both of them, but the name is an individual. So, like, what's the story with that? I don't know. Like, it's just clunky. Like,
it's like everybody has a spider pal. Every single card that was typed spider, because of the multiple Spider-Man in the Spider-Man sets, is just a human with a spider pal. That's it.
Some of them are humans with spider pals, but there are also other ones that are like Driders. You know, like Darval, whose web protects, which is one of the Spider-Men. It's one of the common ones. This one is a Drider, like it's a human torso on a spider body, which I am 98% positive with just looking at the artwork, no inside information whatsoever. There is no way that they did not have like slush art for the Drider card from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, or like a Drider character that they cut later in development. There's no way this is not slush art from that they're just reusing, because we have no reason to believe that there is any in-universe plane that has spider people on it. We have never seen that in Magic's lore. And the fact that it is present here on like 2 cards as like throwaway bits that they never discuss, there is no way that was an intentional design decision. No way whatsoever. I refuse to believe that. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
They might reverse engineer something. They might create a story where these make sense and like lean into it, I guess. But I would be shocked if they do. Yeah.
So chat and those who are watching this on YouTube later, make sure that you put in the comments or put in chat, Would you want a completely in-universe Spider Peoples set? After experiencing Spider-Man, do you want an in-universe plane based on spiders as an in-universe Magic set? Tell me,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, please sound off. Let us know, because they have done the Oh yeah, no, and so they've done some of the I'm seeing a lot of no's. I see God no, not really. I'm tired, boss. Yeah, well well played, Gazban Goblin. Well done. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But you have these like driders, you have these half human, half spiders, but then you have your spider pals, as you mentioned, because a lot of characters in this just have spider friends, just cause, like. So there is a plane somewhere that through the Omen Paths is showing us where humans and spiders coexist. So yeah, the question does come down to, do we really want to explore that? Or do we want to accept that this is going to be one of those novelties that is just out there?
Gwen, isn't it? This is one of
so I pull up Wardens
common, maybe?
Wardens of Silverweb Summit. Yes, it's one of the Spider Gwens. Yeah, the Wardens of Silverweb Summit. I was just scrolling through the artwork, and it appears to be what looks like a big one of those like orb spinner spiders, which can produce gorgeous webs, by the way. And it's just kind of hanging, and there's a human like resting on its neck, and it looks like they're just chilling. And it's just there's just this human character just living on just hanging out on a spider, just. Sure. Which it's a cool image. Like, if I'm at a bookstore and I see a fantasy paperback with that as the cover, it's like, oh, cool, neat. Like, I'm not saying no, like, but it's evocative of, or it implies a universe and a world that we just haven't seen yet. And so I can't help but wonder, like, do we want to actually explore it or not?
Right.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of no's, and it looks like no, probably.
Yeah. It's interesting. So we said that we were going to be talking about Spider-Man, and then we divert to the Omen Paths version, which is totally fine, because that's all that we know, because mostly standard
we're arena players,
is played on Arena, so we're playing with the Omen Path versions. And God knows I definitely don't know both names of both cards. But big W to Moxfield and Untapped for making these things viewably possible, right? If you construct your deck on Moxfield, it shows you both versions. And if you are using the Untapped feature to scroll over the cards, it now has underneath what the in-universe set is. So, fantastic. MTG bot hasn't caught up, right? MTG bot in stream chat. So, like, you can only search up, I think, the Omen Path version cards. It doesn't come up the Spider-Man cards, which is interesting. But at least our very friendly extensions and partners are allowing us to make this process much easier. Yeah. I can't imagine the time that it took them to like code both things at once, or the ability to like export from any of the sets where you find deck lists to then import it to Arena so it does it properly. That had to take forever.
I can only imagine. So huge shout out. And so it's funny, mentioning MTG bot hasn't caught up. Like, at the end of the day, though, they have a phenomenal service. A phenomenal service on Twitch that we absolutely adore. So MTG Bot, Scryfall, and Moxfield, all of whom, if I'm not mistaken, have Patreons. Go support them. They are freaking saints that help all like community engagement with Magic wouldn't be possible at the level it is without those teams, which are mostly volunteers. Like, busting their butts to make convoluted, complicated things like this seamless and effortless from our perspective. So huge shout outs for that. Additionally, I want to give credit where credit's due as well, celebrating other Wizards W's, where the Through the Omen Paths set existing, bummer. But on the back end, all of the Spider-Man names have been coded onto Arena. So if you have a deck list that has the Spider-Man names on it, you can import it and they will automatically replace the Omen Path cards with them. Additionally, if you go into the search bar on Arena in your deck builder and type in Superior Spider-Man, Kaveru will pop up. Like, they did a great job of they don't have the Spider-Man IP anywhere, but the names are queryable in the database, and Areno does recognize them. So that was, I gotta say, like, well done, making that happen. It makes life so much easier, and it's one of those little things that is easy to not even notice. But if it wasn't there, holy cow, like that would have sucked. So yeah, so that's wonderful. Yeah, frickin' heroes, indeed, all around.
So we skipped around. We went to Spider-Man.
Yes.
We talked about Aether Drift, and then we went to Spider-Man immediately. What's the set that we missed? We missed
Dragonstorm was in there, right? Dragonstorm and Edge, I think.
It's supposed to be Dragonstorm, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to Tarkir then.
Yes. I love Tarkir.
To talk about those cards, because you also were an ambassador for Tarkir Dragonstorm, right?
I was. And I got to preview another preview card in this set, and it was the actually collector number 42, which I loved so much. I did ask Diana, the community manager at the time, about that. It was a happy accident, but still, that wasn't intentional. But it was very happy how that lined up. Yeah, which is Dragonologist, by the way, which is a card that I really thought was going to be good. It hasn't quite found a home yet, but I've got a couple copies in a few commander decks, and I like it very much. Yeah.
I'll have you know, I played this card. So Arena did a special event, I don't know, some number of months ago, where they did the collab with Alienware PC.
Yeah.
Remember, we played in this event, and we
that.
banned an extra 10 cards in Standard at the time. And I most certainly played my Demir Mill deck with a copy of Dragonologist in it.
Yes.
Love it. Because you get to look at the top 6 cards and find the Singularity Rupture for 3 mana, and it gives you a blocker. But also, I was playing the Dragon package, so we had like Maring River Regent and Scavenger Regent in this deck, because they just worked perfectly together.
They're so good.
So yes, I did get to play the card, so that was awesome.
I love it. Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. And in general, I feel like Tarkir Dragonstorm is one of those where this is one of those sets that was a love letter to the Magic community and to veteran players and to Magic itself. And so when I find myself getting upset about how much Universes Beyond product there is, and like when you hear people complaining about Universes Beyond, I know for me, I just like to take a deep breath, and it's like, but they gave us Dragonstorm. But they gave us Dragonstorm. Don't forget, they gave us Dragonstorm. Because I loved I thought this set was absolutely fantastic from top to bottom. I just loved it. The story was great. The aesthetics were perfect. It was a return to a beloved plane. Gave me an excuse to play Abzan again. Gave us a new frickin' Rhino. What's not to love? Like, it's all good. And Maring River Regent is the card you mentioned there. This card's a house. I make a ton of predictions when new cards come out, and I get proven wrong all the time. I made a bold prediction on this one that I absolutely still stand by. When this got previewed, I said this is going to be the best dragon in the dragon set. Completely stand by that.
That's right.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, yes, it was.
I think the Omen mechanic is just fantastic.
Oh my god!
I think they did that right. Like, we were I think we said something along the lines that we were concerned about Omen because it looks similar to templated adventure, and people are going to like misplay these cards.
Totally.
But I love that they shuffle back and you can replay them as opposed to them actually being adventures. Maring River Regent is the very clear example of that, right? Draw 3, discard a card, shuffle this card back in your deck so you can play it for the Omen side again later on, or if you want to play it for the 6-drop, bounce 2 things. It made a lot of interesting aspects about playing the set limited, right? Because you get a lot of the powerhouse Omen like removal spells that are removal spells. They shuffle back so you can play them as a dragon later. What's the green card called? Disrupting Stormbrood, the uncommon.
Oh yeah.
Is that the name of the card? Where it's like petty revenge is the Omen side. It's like 1 in a black, blow up a creature. Power 3 or less. Yep. but then it enters and blows up an artifact or enchantment. And it's a solid 3/3 flying. This
Mm-hmm.
card is incredible. I love this design of a card. Let me use an early removal spell, cast my big dragon later.
Yeah.
This card's great.
It's wonderful. Well, and I also love it in, just Golgari in general, because like in Insidious Roots, I need creatures. And like this can be a creature that's also a removal spell, like so if I just need a 2-drop kill spell so that I don't die early, like this gives me that while also being a thing later. So if I mill it, it feeds my engine. We can reanimate it to blow stuff up. Like it's, and in recursion decks like that, paying 5 for a Reclamation Sage versus paying 3 for it, like, man, it's fine. And the additional upside is more than worth it. Yeah. Sure. This card's great. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's very fun. And it just plays well. Just every time you see it. Yeah, and it's a kill spell that puts itself back in the deck. Like the idea of spending a kill spell and still having 4 of it, like potential. Omens are nuts. I love them.
Yeah.
Oh, fun times.
And Tarkir Dragonstorm also saw the reintroduction of Craterhoof Behemoth into Standard, which was really funny because Innistrad Remastered had a reprint of Craterhoof Behemoth in it in multiple like artwork, multiple borders, right? Retro border. It had I don't think Craterhoof had a poster version, but we saw it reprinted in Innistrad earlier in the year, and then bam, they said Craterhoof Behemoth, sure, that card can be standard legal. It certainly won't get played, right? But the fact is you could play like Nature's Rhythm, which is also in this set, and help enable your early Craterhoof Behemoth if you really want. I mean, Badger Mold Club is kind of like a reason that's able to happen. So obviously sets later, making this card more playable. But yeah, the reintroduction of this card in the Standard is very sweet. And we have elves coming in Lorwyn, and if I remember correctly, in the past, elves like to make mana, and elves like to get hoofed. So
that tends to be, that all checks out. Well, and Foundations had a really good elf package, not just Llanowar elves, but like it had a lot of other elves that were very that definitely hooked each other up. So like, Dwynen's Elite and the
Imperious Perfect,
Imperious Perfect. Lorwyn. Yeah, exactly. So like, if Lorwyn brings the heat and prints a couple of good elves into the set, we might see a standard elf deck be viable again. Yeah. At the very least in best of 1. But at the same time, we're also in a standard where like removals for even 3, or like sweepers for even 3 mana aren't that hard to come by. So it'll be interesting to see, when that arms race shakes out, who comes out on top. Because I feel like with Split Up, with the Day of Black Sun, Pinnacle Star Cage, we have even things like Slagstorm, if you're going full elf style, could get you there. So I don't know. We'll see. It's funny because actually the inclusion of Llanowar elves and Craterhoof Behemoth in the current Standard, like I've tried running elves, I've tried building the full elf deck, and we're at a point right now where the standard elf package looks fantastic. Like if you're familiar with elf decks of the past, like it looks like it should be awesome, and it's just not. It's really kind of remarkable how tough it is to fight through removal these days with those kind of classic approaches. I didn't think printing Craterhoof Behemoth into Standard was going to be safe, and it totally is. Like it's viable, but it's certainly not problematic.
Listen, in a same Standard format where you can also put in Omniscience onto the battlefield on turn 4 or 3 or whatever, like Craterhoof Behemoth is the least of our worries.
You're not wrong.
If somebody is hoofing me in Standard, I absolutely cannot be mad, right?
Fair play.
If somebody is granning me into burning me with monuments, I might be upset. Hoof, not upset at all. hoof me, please, all day. Ayo.
Phrasing? Yeah. I'm with you on that.
But listen, Tarkir Dragonstorm just has so many bangers. You're talking about like multi-format playable cards, right? Voice of Victory comes to mind. That card is incredible at rare. If that card was a mythic, it'd be worth infinite dollars, but it is kind of still expensive. But Voice of Victory, let's talk about like the anti-control card, a decent aggressive card because you get 3 power worth of things, has a decent size butt, and it's just great, right?
It's so good.
It's a fantastic card. I love this card.
It's
I was
100%.
playing Control this week in my RCQ. I had 3 Voice of Victory in my sideboard. I boarded it in against any deck that wanted to interact with me, and it was great.
It's so good.
Tell you that.
Well, and if you want to do any kind of like sacrifice matters thing, it spots you 2 expendable bodies every turn. Are you kidding? And they even sacrifice themselves. So if you don't have a sack outlet, but you need to trigger stuff, it does that. This thing's bonkers. It's so good. Yeah.
No, great shot. Mechanic in general just is great. I mean, there's some like cards not as played that have the mobilize mechanic, but even the uncommons. What's the 3 mana guy? It's like an 0/4 that makes you 3 1/1s. It was really decently played with Sephiroth from Final Fantasy, and there's like a mobilized deck that existed in Standard for quite some time that worked really well with Blood Witch and Sephiroth triggers. Yes, Dalkman Pack Piece, that's it. This is a great uncommon. Right? It's a solid 0/4 for 3 mana. It has Vigilance, so it can always block. Then it makes you a bunch of 1/1s that trigger sack effects for you. This card is great. Like, very well designed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just good. The other thing I love about Mobilize is that the creatures stay around until the end step. Yep. It would have been very easy for it to only to like sacrifice them or even exile them at the end of combat, and that would have made it so much worse. So yeah, no, these are great.
You know, and there's so many cards like we haven't mentioned yet, but when I tell like if you are missing Tarkir Dragonstorm cards and like you're getting in the Standard, like you should just buy this set. Yes, you might open up a ban card like Corey Steelcutter. Fine. Card is playable in other formats because it's broken. But you might open up like Ugin Eye of the Storms, which is still very decently priced. It is a modern playable card. In fact, I think in the latest major modern event, it was like Eldrazi Green or Eldrazi Tron played Ugin Eye of the Storms. And that was a prediction for modern for quite some time. Yeah, this set is a banger. So Ugin is fantastic. Other powerful cards is like the Land Cycle from Tarkir Dragonstorm. They're all monocolored. Mistrise Village, for example, makes your next spell uncounterable.
So good.
Quarry Mountain Monastery lets you flip cards off the top of your deck. Dalkman Encampment gets you 2 1/1s when you attack. Great Arishan City, not that great. That's I love this card one.
Though. If you're playing Insidious Roots, this card's awesome. If you're not, you can forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the green one? Kishla Village. I think Kishla Village.
That sounds right.
The green one?
Kishla Village.
I try to remember the cards.
Yeah, pay for Surveil 2. All right.
Yeah.
It's
like bad. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The better. These cards get better when you have the full 10 chalk lands in Standard. 100%, I believe, right?
So much.
Because then you can play them untapped the majority of the time. So they just get better. This set also have the sieges. So like Frostcliff Siege now is seeing more play in Standard now because of like the Is It Looting deck, right? You can put Quantum Riddlers into play for 2 mana and you can attack with a 4/6 5/7 flyer trample haste plus draw a card.
It's so dumb.
Yeah. Windcrag Siege, also great, right? That's very reminiscent of cards previous where you get like it is not Urabrask's Forge, but it does put creatures into play every turn with lifelink or double your attack triggers. Card is great.
It's so good.
Yeah, this is a set to buy, y'all. Like, if you don't have these cards, they are very powerful at face value. I would say the set is probably as powerful as Duskmourn in terms of power level of Standard sets, and they just get better with other cards printed around them.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing about it is too, like even for Commander players out there, I think that a ton of cards in this set could be staples. In certain archetypes. And, talking about the sieges, like Glacierwood Siege is, I think a lot of people see the one mode where it's like whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, target player mills 4 cards. Where like, okay, if you want to mill yourself, that's not bad. But like trying to mill your opponent out, like, maybe that's not worth it. It's kind of, that's kind of fringe. But the second mode, you may play lands from your graveyard. Now, I know that we have, Raminep Excavator, and I know we got Icetail Explorer this year as well, which is a better version of that effect, to be sure. But like, this card is selling for about $1/4 right now. This is a bulk rare in this set. And it's a Crucible of Worlds. I understand it's in 2 colors, but like, there's a Crucible of Worlds that you can get for like asking nicely and a crisp high 5. So like, don't forget that stuff like this exists, guys. It's kind of nuts.
Some of even the legendary dragons aren't that very expensive either. Like you're talking about the, you know, if you're looking to, and again, we mostly stick to like standard things here, but like the precons from Tarkir Dragonstorm, very powerful out of the box. Like if you were looking to jump into Commander and spend $40 or however much it is for a precon Commander, buy one of those decks because they're very powerful to play out of the box. Great mana fixing. But if you're looking to upgrade and you just want to play like tricolor Commanders, all of these are playable. The standard legal ones, good. They're very good. You know, and Legendary Dragon's not named Shiko. Monka S. First of all, Shiko is great. Shiko's probably, I don't want to say he's like the worst from a commander perspective. From maybe that's true. From a commander perspective, Shiko might be the worst one.
I have a Shiko deck that's pretty darn fun. It's not like super strong, but like if you like Sun Titan effects, Shiko can be a fun twist on that. True. And the ability to make like tokens of things that were never intended to be tokens, that can get weird. So like it is fun, but I can appreciate that it's not, you know, like I'm sure no CEDH player looked at Shiko and was like, ooh, we can make something work with this.
No, right? Yeah. Like when we look at Betor, Kin to All, right? The Abzan legendary dragon, like that just screams commander card, right? 100%. So like build your big butts commander deck and it fits. Anything fits in. Oh my god, I was about to make a very Monka 2S comment. I won't do that. Anyway,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I did want to call out Dragonback Assault because I definitely forgot to mention that card. Talking about a card I love to doppelgang. Dragonback Assault is one of them. I do like the doppelgang. Lots of different cards, by the way, so you'll hear me talk about that all the time. But man, if you doppelgang Dragonback Assault, you're definitely blowing up the board, but then you're making a bunch of dragons every time you play a land, so that's great.
And when you doppelgang, you might have a land in there as one of the things you're copying, so you know that can happen. Yeah. Stack your triggers. Everybody, like, be careful about how you stack your triggers. That's all I'm saying there. But yeah.
I remember for the streamer event for Tarkir Dragonstorm, it was how many Dragonback Assault decks can we fit into this event? You know, it's still, I think, a playable card. You just need to really ramp. The ramp decks need to be fantastic for this deck, for this card to really like work. I mean, Landfall we know works, but you know, if we can ramp hard enough and make that viable in standard, then Dragonback Assault becomes much more playable.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've definitely seen decks that are, you know, ramping with some early sweepers up into this, and like they can play very well and like can absolutely eat aggro's lunch, which is you know, really, it's kind of fun to watch, not gonna lie. So yeah, good times. But yeah, so well, and it's funny too because actually looking at the chat, you know, like Teamer Battlecrier is a great call out. Carsey Revenant is one that I absolutely adore. Like this set is just stacked. Like Dragonstorm just
Jeskai Revelation. There was a serialized card in this set, Mox Jasper, which was very expensive when it got released, and now it's worth nothing. Well, I don't know about the serialized versions, probably worth something. But you could buy Mox Jaspers probably for $10 or less, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's about right.
Very, very restrictive. I can't even imagine. It's probably still like $1,500 to $2,000 for a serialized Mox, I have to imagine, just because that has the name Mox in the title.
It has the word Mox on it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and Mox Jasper, I kind of love this design because, you know, Moxen are just always busted unless they have a very strong restriction. Like Mox Amber is the other one that kind of comes to mind, where like there are enough cheap legends now where Mox Amber is quite good and abusable in many scenarios. So like, you know, I'm certainly not saying that it's a bad card by any means, but the like free value of just 0-drop mana that goes in like any deck that you get with like Chrome Mox and, you know, all the original Moxen, you just don't get with that. And I feel like Mox Jasper is another one that's like, the design on this is like way too fair to be good, just in general, like as far as a generic value piece. Cause like, yeah, it's a 0-drop mana producer, but it only works if you control a dragon. Well, like, dragons, typically aren't cheap. So, like, if I already have a bunch of mana, why am I going down a card to get one more? Like, that doesn't, I think on its face, it looks pretty darn bad, actually.
The cheapest dragon in Standard technically is like 3 mana. I'm thinking of Clarion Conqueror, obviously already in the set. That's 3 mana, so by the time you get to take advantage of the Mox Jasper, I mean, you'd have to do something like play Changelings, right? That's what people were trying, like the 2 mana Changelings from Bloomburrow that are colorless. But still, even if, terrible. That's still only ramping you 1 extra mana on turn 3 to play a bad card to start, right?
Right.
So, not really worth it, unless they start printing, like, 1 mana dragon cards for you to be able to play.
It's you see Magical Christmas Land scenarios with, like, 1-drops and Leyline of Transformation, like naming dragons. Like, okay, sure, but like you're talking about having like 2 or 3 specific cards in your opening hand in order to be ahead by 1 mana, and it's like the explosive potential. Like, if you're just farming for clips, go for it, but like, all of these cards, like Mox Jasper and Leyline of Transformation, and presumably whatever 1-drop you're like, you got to be selective about that too. Like, there's a good chance that every one of those cards individually sucks. Like, Leyline of Transformation is not a card you want in your deck unless it is in your opening hand. If you draw this later, woof. Like, it's just bad. And it's way too... Yeah, so that's Magical Christmas Land all over. And it's fun to think about, I think there is I feel like I saw that it's possible to get a turn 1 win, or was it before Cacophony Scampro did, or no, before Heartfire Hero got banned? I think it was possible to get like a turn, was it turn 1 or turn 2 win in Standard? It was like with a Leyline of Transformation and a Mox Jasper, like you had to have 7 exact cards in your opening hand. So you mulligan once, you can't do it, and it was absurd. And it was like it had something to do with, I think it was Heartfire Hero, Mox Jasper. I think you need like 2 of them, and then some pump spells. It was so dumb. And no, Leyline of Resonance was in the discussion as well. It was a whole thing. Anyway, so so
many free things.
So many free things. So at the end of the day, like, I feel like the design on Mox Jasper is actually, so here's hot take. I think the design on Mox Jasper is excellent from a card design perspective, because it sparks the imagination, gets you interested, and what it's doing is potentially powerful, but only in very narrow circumstances. So I feel like it is cool, it's exciting, it's thought-provoking, but not actually like good enough to see significant play, and therefore not problematic. So I love this card. Do more stuff like this, please. Anyway, I'm not gonna play it, don't get me wrong, but like, I love that it exists. Anyway, so yeah, cool stuff. And yeah, that was meant to be the Chase Rare or Chase Mythic, and then a bunch of other stuff was in that set. Fun times.
So we could probably talk about this set forever.
We could. Maybe that's a whole other episode. Yeah.
Probably should move on to Final Fantasy, which is the next set in 2025.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
finally,
Final Fantasy, the biggest selling set of Magic of all time. I think that was pretty predictable.
I don't think anyone's surprised.
Full disclosure. Before the set, I had never played a Final Fantasy game in my life. I know that the Final Fantasy fandom was huge. When they announced Final Fantasy was going to be a set coming to Magic, my buddy Darian, or Big D the Villain, said that you don't understand. This set is going to be bought out by scalpers from people who never have played Magic, and they're just going to buy it because it says Final Fantasy on it, and that is going to set the stage for many things that are to come. And I'm like, there's no way, right? There's no way that there's alternate fandom coming to Magic and we're not able to get the cards. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Craziness. And of course that inflated the price of cards everywhere, which is, its own separate topic for discussion. But yeah, Final Fantasy, I'd never played, so I knew nothing about the characters. And so when when Wizards reached out to invite me to be an ambassador for Final Fantasy, I'm like, how do I do this? Because the point of Universes Beyond is to bring non-Magic players to Standard. That is the point of Universes Beyond, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get Final Fantasy folks to play Magic? And believe it or not, it was the first time that I saw people who'd never played Magic before, fans of Final Fantasy, actually get into the game. So Final Fantasy did its thing. It did what it was supposed to do from multiple levels. And so I had no idea what any of the Final Fantasy characters were or what they did. So most of the content that I made for the set was with my buddy Darian, who we would open packs and then we would talk about the characters.
These were great, by the way. Those shorts were fantastic. Yeah.
I knew absolutely nothing. I couldn't tell you who Vivi was. I could not tell you who Sephiroth was. I could only give you the insight from Magic. Like, if this is an iconic card from Final Fantasy or iconic character from Final Fantasy, you'd have to tell me if the flavor matches the card. And I remember watching one of the many weekly MTG streams that they did to talk about Final Fantasy, and they were very adamant about Square Enix making sure that the Magic cards were as flavorful as the iconic characters. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But yeah, Final Fantasy brought lots of people to Magic. When I tell you, there are so many people still currently playing Magic, whether it's Commander or Standard. Personally, it revived Standard at my LGS. I can tell you, Final Fantasy did that. People who've never played Magic before started buying non-Final Fantasy products, so they had cards to play the game. They started with the Final Fantasy cards. They are still actively playing Magic. And I see that across the board. I've talked to many people at like Magicons and different events who are brand new to the game. Final Fantasy got them in the Magic, which is what it's supposed to do.
Sweet.
But yeah, it was a great set, and also full of very, very powerful cards. So Ham, you are part of the Final Fantasy fandom. So
I am.
What did you enjoy about the set?
So I enjoyed a ton. So I played honestly, my favorite, one of my favorite parts about this was it gave me an excuse to play through Final Fantasy VI and work my way through Final Fantasy IX on my stream. We'll get back to that before too long, guys. Don't worry, we will.
Yeah.
But and those are my two favorites, by the way, 6 and 9, because they're nice.
Nice.
But yeah, right. But actually, like Final Fantasy VI was my first RPG of like any kind, and it was one of the first like narrative focused video games I ever played back on the Super Nintendo, and it set the bar real high. Like, I didn't realize just how good I had it right off the bat, and so when I see cards like Kefka, for example, like this is Kefka Court Mage is one of my favorite cards in this set, because I enjoy being a villain, and honestly, I had an association and an appreciation for Kefka before even like the Joker from Batman. Like that's how entrenched I am in, like, or how foundational this property is to me as far as my kind of just my development, right? And so like this, the cards all hit the nail on the head. Additionally, like the fact that the commander deck, like when I saw that the Final Fantasy VI themed commander deck was a Mardu Self-Mill Reanimator deck, I was like, you took my childhood and made it my favorite archetype? Like I don't pre-order Magic products. I pre-ordered this, and I regret not doing it twice. Like it's one of those things where, honestly, this set, like I genuinely. There were a number of times where I saw like the old pixel art from my childhood that I loved realized with these gorgeous photorealistic, paintings. Where like there are some cards that like full on like just like brought a tear to my eye when I first saw them, and like another moment where I kind of wish I had clipped it now that I think back on it, during the Final Fantasy early access event, the first time I cast Kefka, which I don't know if you know this, on Arena, they took a bunch of the original sound effects from those games and coded them in. And when you play Kefka, the little like MIDI file or wave file of his laugh plays in the background. It's very faint, but it's there. First time I heard that, I threw him down and I heard that in the background. I had a second where I just needed to like process. Like I just needed to stop for a second. Like, is this real? Like this is the coolest freaking thing. So like it felt like they got it right. It felt like the people who designed this set clearly knew the core property and took the care to make it excellent. And the truth is, they didn't have to. You know, at the end of the day, Final Fantasy trading cards were going to sell gangbusters even if they played like crap, right? There was no question. They were going to do fine. But they did take the time and they did put in the effort. And I haven't seen anything that really looks like a flavor fail, at least from the Final Fantasies that I know. And it's also bonkers that they took, 16 games and actually managed to like represent all of them in some way in the core set, even if they didn't get them their own, their own commander product, is kind of wild. Like even like Final Fantasy like 5, which is widely considered, pretty meh. It's a pretty lackluster part of the, entry to the series. Like once 6 came out, people just kind of forgot that it existed. But like all the job select cards, like the job system was an element of Final Fantasy V. And like one of the first characters you get to play is Bartz, which in the translation I played, his name was Butts. I'm going to call that out. So if I ever resolve this card when I'm playing my bird decks on Arena, I do call this Butts and Boko, and I will continue to do so. And I recommend you do the same. But even this kind of like forgettable like element of the series is still represented within the set. I love that. Like I feel like they took the care. And the additions, the different games are disproportionately represented, but I think they should. Like Final Fantasy VII is, considered like one of the just for the American audience, that game is huge, as it should be. It was many people's introduction to the franchise. So yeah, they got its own commander deck and is a huge chunk of the set. Cool. Yeah. It should be. Like it's a lot of people's favorites represented, right? I was shocked at how many cards from 9 were in it, blown away, in fact, at the representation that 9 got. So Vivi is obviously the card. Vivi Ornithir is a character from Final Fantasy 9. I know, rip Vivi. And the whole Vivi thing, the whole challenge with this card is I have weird conflicting feelings. I find it humorous that the Magic card became so problematic so fast and was clearly just this issue that needed to be banned and that like we all hate. Even people who played it, from what I understand, largely didn't like it. The card being so problematic is so funny because in the story, in the game, Vivi is like this really shy, like humble character who's just like the nicest little guy and you just want him to be okay. And like him realizing that he is like, worthy of his place in the world and like has value as an individual is something that is a growth story that he goes throughout the game. And like, he's this beautiful, wonderful character who I love so much. And so the fact that like, I absolutely adore this one version of him and I cannot stand the other one is really funny to me. Yeah. So
yeah, it's interesting. And we've talked many times on the podcast about how Vivi was just a design mistake of a card.
It just was.
We've mentioned plenty that Vivi originally was supposed to have a tap ability. So what the alchemy version of Vivi now in Arena is the correct version of what Vivi was supposed to be before they changed it. Right. 100%. They and on the stream when they banned the card, they called this out. They called one that the card was not wasn't the original version of the card, and 2, they recognized the design mistake. In fact, they specifically said in that stream, and they said in the article, Vivi was the problem. It specifically wasn't Agatha's Soul Cauldron. They said they missed the interaction, but it's the design mistake of Vivi that was the brokenness of the card. Even if you took Cauldron out of the scenario, this card would have been very powerful in the prowess builds of the deck.
No question.
So yeah, R.I.P. Vivi, very beloved character. I am not sorry to see you go in Standard because if it remained, it was still going to cause tons of problems.
Just gonna be an issue.
You're talking about a card that destroyed a whole paper Standard RCQ season of people not coming out to events because of it. Should have instant banned this card when they knew that.
Immediately.
So like Whatever.
And yeah. Well, and it's funny because like we talk about, design mistakes happening and playtesting and all that jazz. At the end of the day, yes, this card getting through the cracks as printed, like it was a mistake.
Yeah.
They've acknowledged this. It is what it is. I feel like the real problem with it, yes, we should call them out for the fact that it hit print. It shouldn't have. And I hope that they've kind of taken some lessons from that. I'm sure they have. Like the way that they've been talking about it, it's pretty clear that like Vivi and Nadu both taught them a lot. So hopefully that hopefully future designs don't look like this, right? But additionally, the other thing about this though is I wish they had Master Sarah, thanks for the sub. I wish they had banned it sooner. I feel like that's the real issue is at the end of the day, like, how, they say in job interviews, like acknowledge that you made mistakes, but like people don't look at whether or not you made a mistake. It's how you handled it afterwards is what really matters. Like that's kind of classic advice that you hear a lot is like, yeah, mistakes happen. Everybody makes mistakes, but how do you respond? And I feel like Wizards drug their feet way too long before pulling the plug on this thing.
Yeah.
And like he just should have gotten the X like months before he did.
So much so that they changed their ban schedule now with standard because they realize that there may be other instances where they have to take action and they want to take action sooner rather than later. So at least they came out publicly and acknowledged that they did it wrong.
Right.
They even acknowledged in the same article and announcement that they thought that originally it was better practice to allow standard to suffer in the short term. They thought was going to be more healthier, and then they acknowledged that they were wrong, because obviously that impact is going to be held more, right? Like it's going to be felt longer. So I'm glad that they're going to be doing that personally from someone who goes out and plays RCQs and competitive Magic. But I also do have a feeling now with 7 sets in standard for 2026 and the sets coming out in a shorter time frame from one another. We've already referenced Lorwyn and what will be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that we're going to catch these problems less if there are problems. And we have the scapegoat of, well, a new standard set is coming out a month from now, and so maybe that will help fix some of the problems when in reality it doesn't. So
not really. So as long as they're quick to ban stuff in the future, I think it'll be okay. I hope that that's their big takeaway from this. And I also think it is unfortunate. One of the things about Final Fantasy as a whole is the set rules. Like the whole set was beautifully done and carefully crafted and fantastic. And I feel like for so many months, all people were talking about was Vivi. I think that's really a shame. And we saw the same thing happen with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was a carefully crafted set that referenced the source material and was this beautiful love letter that is so wonderfully crafted and just excellent on so many levels and was so great. And like, and I had my freaking, Aowen decks and I was playing with, like I tried to make the Doors of Durin work and stuff like that. Like, it's just cool. Like if you just want to live in that world, it's a thing you could do. But everybody was talking about how Orcish Bowmasters and the One Ring were just everywhere and wrecking older formats, and that was it. That was like the discourse, and it's just like, can we not talk about like all the other cool stuff happening here? Because there's a lot of cool stuff. Can we just enjoy the cool stuff? And it's like, but the One Ring, it's like, yeah, okay, I know, but like,
talking about cool stuff in Final Fantasy.
Yes.
In terms of other cards that are very much standard playable, Cecil Dark Knight is the first card that comes to my mind.
Heck yeah.
Because it's a sweet 1 mana 2/3 aggressive card that is fair and balanced.
Yeah.
Like
powerful
talking about
but strong downside.
Yeah, right? 2/3 Death Touch. It's a great attacker, great blocker. You lose life if it deals damage. But then it can also flip to the other side. So like race to destroy your own life total, but also flip into this life linker that makes the rest of your creatures indestructible, right? For Cecil Redeemed Paladin. I love this card. This is like, it's legendary, so it's fair, right? If the card wasn't obviously legendary, probably more of a problematic card, right?
Sure.
But you can only have one on the battlefield at a given time, and it's great.
Yeah. No, this card rules. I like it a lot. And the legendary flips are always fun, especially when they're like cheap bread and butter kind of like utility pieces like this. Because, yeah, once it does flip, the first card, like you can replay an additional copy and you can have 2 of them on the battlefield, which I just love that. And yeah, this actually, come to think of it, this was one of those cards where Flavorfully, when I first saw it, it was very impactful because I haven't actually played Final Fantasy IV, where this is from, but I understand that, Cecil is a Dark Knight and does some pretty questionable things, and comes to grips with kind of the errors of his ways and does redeem himself throughout the course of the story. And this telling a redemption story so cleanly on a Magic card is just so neat. It's mechanically, just flavorfully, all of it, just nailed it.
Yeah,
it's so good. Well, and in the game, Dark Knights, the way that the way that they work is they deal a lot of damage, like for their level, but they hurt themselves in the process. And so like even mechanically within the like gameplay terms, it just lines up and does it just works. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, good shout. This one was great. We also got Ultima, which is the sweeper that we're all gonna have to live with for the until this rotates. Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, so like we were comparing cards like Ultima to the other 5 mana removal spell that rotated, Sunfall. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's just it's great to make the equivalents to those two. Reminder, Final Fantasy came out before Edge of Eternity, so no Beyond the Quiet yet. But Ultima ending the turn and also destroying artifacts is super important, especially now with Avatar Standard and Earthbending being a thing. When you end the turn when casting Ultima, those lands do not come back to the battlefield tapped. So you do in fact get to LD your opponent, and it's great.
So gross. Yeah, no, playing overextending into a board wipe is always an issue when you're trying to be the aggro player. Like understanding when to like hold stuff back. The fact that this punishes earthbending and is one of very few things that does is pretty brutal. Yeah. And so in a way I kind of do love this. It also shuts down like death triggers, which I've been enjoying like aristocrat stuff. This preventing that is kind of brutal, but there's also ending the turn is not a strict upside. It often is for the control mages, but not always. There are plenty of times when they might want to cast some kind of sorcery speed something after the fact. Like maybe there's a creature they really want to put on the battlefield. It's like, well, you either put that creature down or you wipe. You cannot do both. That's kind of that's an interesting kind of push pull, and I like that. So it's not a strict upside, but if you build your deck with it in mind, it can be. Yeah.
And this card is of course a fantastic counter to like the Jeskai Artifacts deck or Blue-White Artifacts deck with Simulacrum Synthesizer. Yeah, just destroys that deck. It also is really good against, believe it or not, it's actually good against Izzet Lessons because it blows up the monuments and all of their creatures. It's more important to cast this card than like Day of Judgment against them. And in the turn is also super important against that deck, so they can't like try to end step a bunch of things against you. But yeah, this is just a fantastic removal spell that's just gonna get better with the more relevant artifacts and creatures that are printed.
Indeed. Yeah, pretty darn good.
Another card from Final Fantasy that I love, also a big mainstay of Standard now, the Reanimator package, is with Arden the Usurper. We talked about Superior Spider-Man earlier, aka Cavero, aka whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Arden is a big part of Reanimator. Arden was being played in Reanimator before the Superior Spider-Man version. Arden with Valgavoth was sweet as but now, excuse me, YouTube. But you're also, you have Arden the Usurper reanimating the Bringer of Last Death?
Yes. Nope, or the Bringer of the Last Gift. Yep.
Last Gift, there you go. And that card making a, Ixalan card playable in Standard that hadn't seen play before. Also fantastic. And Summer's pointing out in chat, Arden with Jumbo Cactuar. I'm seeing Sultai Reanimator lists now playing one of Jumbo Cactuar in their deck. I'm not sure how many of you folks have seen it yet, but it's something that exists because Turns out Arden plus Jumbo Cactuar is certainly 10,000 damage. You kind of win without this happening, but it's something fun that you can do if you really want to.
And it gives the Cactuar menace. So they have to block with 2 things, and if they can block with 2 things, you gain over 10,000 life. So good luck coming back from that.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Silly. Yeah, it's great. It's so fun. But mainstay of the Reanimator deck in Standard comes from Arden, right? And so I love that we're able to play one with these cards, that they're powerful enough for Standard. Considerably, you wouldn't play an 8 mana card like this in Standard otherwise, right?
And no, not at all. And I love the idea of like the reanimatable creature being a reanimation effect that's worth playing. Like, and the fact that it can touch your opponent's graveyard, like the design on this is just so clean. I freaking love this card. Yeah, it's great.
You take your opponent's card. I'm going to reanimate your Gran. It's going to be 5/5 with Menace, Haste, and Lifelink.
And then when it attacks, I'm going to discard this Valgavoth for later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it.
Don't worry. Don't look. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's great. It's great. And also, like, the alternate art of Arden Usurper. There's 2 alternate arts of Arden in this set, by the way. One, highlighting Final Fantasy 15, but 2, where it's got, like, the 15 in the background. But, Arden with the cool hat. I'm unfamiliar with the game and or the artist, but it's just fantastic artwork.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 15, as I understand it, was anime bro road trip. I've played the demo. I have not actually played the full game. But yeah, he's one of the bad guys. And like the moment you see him, he's like, oh, that dude's sinister as hell. Like, so yeah, very obviously bad dude.
See, looking at Arden doesn't really scream bad guy to me.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, again, somebody who hasn't played the Final Fantasy games, like, I don't know.
I mean, fair. I don't know. The thing about it is, one, basic anime rules. He's got kind of the black tattered, cloak thing going on. So, like, that's a thing. But I don't know. It's just, he's a little too slick. He's clearly, he has worked very hard to be
like that artwork attractive. Screams like, I want to make a deal with you. Like, let's be devious, but not like...
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it could be like, maybe he's got your best interest at heart, and maybe he's going to be an advisor that maybe has something to gain, but isn't going to hurt you in the process. Or maybe he's going to steal your immortal soul. Who knows? It could be one or the other.
Arden feels like he would be best friends with Xander from New Capenna. Like, they're just trying to make backroom, like, mob boss 100%. Deals going on, I can see that happening. Like, maybe Arden travels through the Omen Pass to New Capenna and tries to take over the city. That would be great.
That would be great. Well,
probably can't happening, but
I love how you make that connection, because also, like, reanimating Xander off of Arden would actually be dope, and Arden gives Xander haste and menace because demon. So like they actually do totally work together.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love it.
I do want to touch on a card that I'm kind of sad like doesn't see Standard play, because I really like the mechanic of the card. That's Balthier and Fran. Yeah, from Final Fantasy, what is it, 12? I guess it's Balthier and Balthier. Sorry, Balthier and they're gonna destroy me in the YouTube comments. Balthier and Fran. Please. Yes. This card is like great. It's great stat wise for me. Like 3-mana Gruul card, 4/3 reach. Your vehicles get +1/+1 and have reach. Like, I thought that this card was really going to get played alongside Lumbering World Wagon in Standard, and I was very wrong. Yeah, I tried to make it work in Standard, and it just doesn't. Like, I guess 3-mana 4/3 reach. Like, the boomers will appreciate this. Can we bring up Burning Tree Shaman, like, on the screen for a second? Do y'all remember Burning Tree Shaman in Standard?
I'm afraid I don't.
I'm talking, like, OG Ravnica block. 3 mana, 3/4. Whenever a player plays an activated ability that isn't a mana ability, it deals 1 damage to that player. This card used to be fantastic. Great stats, great triggered ability. Power creep in standard, this card wouldn't be playable nowadays, right?
No.
If the Burning Tree Shaman wasn't standard now, not playable.
No,
So
this is draft uncommon for sure.
when I
Yep.
take a look at like 3 mana Gruul cards, I always come back and compare it to Burning Tree Shaman. Because I'm
Ah.
like, this was a card I loved to play back in the day. Balthier and Fran is similar stats, it has reach, maybe it's a little bit better. We don't have a Lightning Bolt in standard that is necessarily going to kill this, but there are other spells. But yeah, I thought 100% this was going to get played alongside of Lumbering World Wagon, and I was definitely wrong.
Yeah. You know what this kind of reminds me of is Miglaws. Remember that guy from Phyrexia All-Be-One? This is another another like 3-drop Gruul card that on paper looks like it should just be dope. It's a 4/4 for 3 with like a bunch of upside attached to it. Like I thought this was going to be the thing, but the truth is a 3-mana threat that doesn't have haste or draw a card. You know, and like this, Miglaws could even be removal, but like you have to spend mana to get the other action. So like. Yeah, it's just sort of, I don't know, this underperformed pretty significantly, even in an environment where oil counters mattered or, you know, or you could proliferate and stuff like that. But yeah, and Balthier and Fran, it feels kind of in that vein where it's just like, this reads like it should be great. But yeah, just 3 mana for a setup piece, you know? The other thing about it though, so buffing all the vehicles is dope. And whenever a vehicle crewed by them attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, you may pay 3. If you do after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. That effect is really strong, but I can't help but notice a key detail there. Nothing untaps before the additional combat phase. What the heck? Like, that's additional combat phases always untap at least one thing, right? I thought that was the idea. So in a world where fear of missing out exists, like this looks pretty lackluster.
I mean, the plus side is it's giving your creatures vigilance or your vehicles vigilance, so you can in theory attack with them again. But like right now, Standard has the landfall deck with Lumbering World Wagon, and it's all about one-shotting your opponent with the warp guy from Edge of Eternities, Mistform Harmonizer or whatever it's called, which we'll get to talk about. But that turns out is just better than this. So playing a 3-mana warp creature that's not going to stick around a whole turn, doubling powers a couple times with your limited fetch lands that you have in Standard is just better. Yeah.
Who knew? But yeah, no, good shout. A card that, Balthier and Fran. I feel like I opened a couple of these and it was like, oh, sweet. And then just, I don't know. There's a commander deck waiting to be had, but that's
it's a good segue moving on to talking about Edge of Eternities, because that is the next set of 2025. So if you want to bring Mistform Harmonizer back up. Card is great. Talk about apparently a better Tifa, right?
Yeah. 4/4 for 4. Landfall whenever land control enters, double the power of target creature control till end of turn, and it warps for 3. Yup.
Yeah. So, we have, Fabled Passages in Standard, Terramorphic Expanse. There's the common land that is from Karlov Manor that also can make your cheap dude unblockable. Escape Tunnel. So, that fits very well. And this deck one-shot you. It's essentially mono green. Some versions are splashing white for sideboard cards like Rest in Peace and Sheltered by Ghosts or Seam Rip or something like that. But card is great.
Yeah, no, this one card is quite strong. Additionally, I think the warp mechanic in general just plays really well. Like, it's just strong. Like, the fact that it interacts so well with, like, Blinks, ETBs, I feel like all the cards are costed pretty appropriately. With one possible exception, Quantum Riddler is a silly card. Let's not bury the lead on this. Like, I feel like of all the cards out there, this one is the one where it's just like, wow, really? It needed to do that too?
Multi-format playable Sphinxes? No way.
So good. But funnily enough, like, so it's a 4/6 flyer that you can play for 2 if you're willing to let it, peace out at the end of the turn. But that gives you the ETB, and then you can play it again for 5. And like a 4/6 for 5 that draws a card when it enters is already pretty decent. Like if that's all this was, it would be okay. But the fact that you can have it on 2 to draw a card and have the 4/6 body online, so if you have a way to give it haste, like with Frostcliff Siege, like you were mentioning, you can like punch your opponent for 4 or 5 on the 1 turn, which, what? Sure, let's add that into the mix too. It can crew vehicles because the 4/6 power is sitting on the field, so it can crew your World Wagon and those kinds of things. If you have a way to blink it or airbend it, you can just like cheat on its cost massively, like, which is silly.
Yes.
Yeah, all those things. And like Splash Portal is another card that's legal right now that allows you to scam this, on turn 3 potentially, where like play it for 2, Splash Portal, you draw 2 cards in the process, so they completely replace themselves, and you got this 4/6 flyer chilling on the battlefield.
Yeah.
What? It's ridiculous.
And in the Izzet decks in Standard, right? So whether it's Izzet Looting, that definitely plays Quantum Riddler, or some of the Izzet Lessons deck are playing Quantum Riddler in the sideboard, like Izzet 2 of or something.
Yeah.
Card drawing you 2 cards a turn when you are discard drawing, essentially playing every card in your hand every turn, then replenishing it with 2 more. Is just great to play this on Warp silly. To then do this with cheap mana. It's a great Magic card. It's very strong. It's also very expensive. I think Quantum Riddler is like a $50 card or something like this.
It's something like that. It's nuts.
Yeah. I can't imagine it's going anywhere. I'm not saying that this set reminds me a lot of Tarkir Dragonstorm, because there are powerful cards, but not I don't think Edge of Eternity is as powerful as Tarkir Dragonstorm. Totally, the whole set, but it does have lots of bangers in it.
Right.
That are multi-format playable bangers. So yeah, when I try to take a look at a card, obviously I'm studying it for Standard, but is this card playable in multiple formats? And typically that's going to get you like a high dollar card or well sought after card.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about like Quantum Riddler specifically, I was realizing that this card actually encompasses or kind of encapsulates what I liked about like why I look at Edge of Eternities and it does feel like an in-universe set, despite being in space. Like I was absolutely ready for this to be a totally. Also, I love the fact that my camera cut out right as I was doing the in space.
Oh, somebody clip it.
Joke. Excellent. You'll love to see it. Let me. All right, there we go, and we're back.
That needs to be Ham's new thumbnail for in space. That was perfect.
In space. Yeah, there it is. Excellent. Don't worry, we'll clip it. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll cut. I'm recording. We'll be able to pull it. It's fine. But anyway, so the thing about Edge is that like it is the space trope set, and it would be very easy to think, oh, this is just a hat set, but it didn't feel like it, and I was trying to figure out why. And the truth of the matter is, things like this. So this is a spacefaring sphinx that, like, the notion that, like, as you're flying through space, you might come face to face with a gigantic sphinx and it will ask you riddles. Like, that is such a fantasy trope, and that doesn't feel sci-fi in the slightest. And for some reason, like, things like that just feel very, I don't know, that feels like just good old-fashioned classic high fantasy action to me. And this set has a ton of that. That it's like, yeah, it is fantasy in space, but it's still fantasy. That didn't stop. We didn't give up on that. And I like that. It feels very, very honest. Also, the story went really hard on this, and they did a lot of like a lot of conceptual, like, quantum physics stuff in it that I did not expect. Like, the elements of, like, time dilation and the action sequences around it were kind of nuts. I definitely, if you enjoy sci-fi at all, check it out. It's actually really cool. So, yeah, very well
written. And a lot of the artwork in this set is very good. You know, we're talking about, Cosmic Grand Zenith, very powerful card in the set. Right, and I remember when they had started previewing arts for these cards, but they had no names attached to them. We were taking a look at what, like, just the amazing artwork in terms of whatever sci-fi or space theme that they wanted. Like, wow, like, this artwork looks incredible. What's the card?
Right.
And I guess we didn't know this card at first, and
Mm-hmm.
so folks were thinking it might have been an angel, um, or whatever their version of Space Angels wanted to be. But this is pretty sweet looking art, and it's also like a really good card.
Yeah.
Cosmic Grand
Yeah, it is.
Zenith. To think that they wanted this card to exist in Standard together with Corey Steelcutter is still kind of wild for me.
Bonkers.
Because yeah, ridiculous. Um, but it's a fantastic card, and I think,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you continue to print cards that are better suited for this in
Mm-hmm.
Standard, it's going to be here for quite some time. It's definitely good in
Yeah.
like the Orzhov like Pixie deck, right? So you can pick things up and put them back down. Cosmo Grand Zenith really benefits from that. But
Mm-hmm.
take a look at the what angel am I referencing? Exalted Sunborn. Yes, that's another
Oh
mythic in
yeah.
this set.
Yeah. No,
Incredible
Sunburn
warping
rules.
angel. Just
Mm-hmm.
like fantastic art. Um just generally, like the normal card art, fantastic. Showing a very colorful angel here, colorful angel wings. The
Yeah.
card is great because it doubles tokens, and we love doubling tokens. I've cast my fair share of my favorite card in the set, which is Devastating Onslaught, on this Exalted Sunborn many
Oh
times
my
to win the
goodness.
game, and it's
That's so silly.
fantastic.
It also works
Um,
really nice with Seraphic Steed.
yeah,
Those two together is it's delightful. Anyway, yeah, yeah, very fun
yeah.
stuff.
But this card also has alternate arts, which are also fantastic. I'm thinking about the Japanese showcase art. Um, they did fractured foils in this set again, but just in general, like the Japanese showcase artwork of this
Oh
card is also just beautiful. Like this
my goodness,
screams Space Angel, right?
100%. Yeah,
It
this is an
clearly
angel in
isn't.
space. That's
Yeah,
just yes, 100%. Well, and this it really, I mean, this is one of those things where like if I'm watching like a 2001 Space Odyssey kind of like trippy space show and a character dies and this is what they see, it's like, yeah, okay. Like, like
yeah,
yeah, like yeah, Space Valkyrie, like bringing them to Valhalla or whatever, totally, 100%, no question, I'm in. Like
yeah.
it's yeah, I love it. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah.
These are great
I don't
cards.
I don't even know what
We
else to
also
say.
had
Just yes, it's gorgeous. Planets.
planets, and Edge of
Yeah.
Eternities. Um, None of which are like by themselves kind of playable in Standard yet. I will
Yeah.
say that I will say the one thing that's very awkward for me is that the planets aren't legendary. And hey, listen, I know that we have tons of legendary things. I'm not advocating for more legendary things in Standard. There are way too
Right.
many. But like the planets probably should be legendary, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a specifically named planet, so it makes sense that they should be. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, they also aren't very strong on their own to warrant
Mm-hmm.
being legendary, I guess. So that's where, Adagia is great because you get to copy artifacts and enchantments with it, but you do need 12 station counters on it, which is very
There's
big.
a
I
ton,
think the
yeah.
station requirement on all of these lands is a little much, but hey,
It's really
Evendo,
prohibitive, yeah.
Evendo Waking Haven, that's the green one, turns into Gaia's Cradle, so it's probably between that one and Uthros, like the strongest ones out of the group
Mm-hmm.
of five. And really, these are only played to help enable Kona Omniscience on
Right.
turn
Yes.
4 or whatever.
Exactly. They're
Like,
they're they're played as ways to like just tap things down to get survival. That's
yeah,
the way people actually play them. Which fair play, I suppose. But and then the notion of them being legendary would really impact that deck's consistency.
hmm
And that would be an interesting deck building tension. Not that I mean, Kona Omniscience isn't really like, it's not exactly a problematic deck at this point, but yeah. So we certainly don't need to be attacking that deck necessarily, but
yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at making it. I personally, I think just ban Omniscience, but yeah. Anyway,
yes,
that's
yeah.
we don't need to
We've
bang that
talked.
drum
Yeah,
anymore. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
people know. But yeah, Evendo becomes Gaia's Cradle and Uthros becomes that's Talarian Academy, right? Like that's
Yes,
nuts. So good.
yeah.
Yeah.
This set also gave us Ouroboros, which is
Be
very much
remiss
a
if we didn't
standard
mention.
playable card, especially
Yep.
alongside of Badger Mole Cub, right? So like Cub
Yep.
into Ouroboros kind of broken.
It's kind of
Um,
nuts.
yeah. I don't know that Ouroboros is being played in any other format other than standard, but I
Hmm.
will tell you they added Ouroboros to the cube, the vintage cube on Magic Online,
Oh
And
yeah.
I most certainly built an Ouroboros deck and won a league. And I was
Let's
like, oh,
go.
this card is turns out when you play land Black Lotus Ouroboros, it's pretty sweet. I did that multiple times, and I am not sad about it.
That's nuts. Oh my goodness. Yeah, turn on
Yeah.
Ouroboros. That's about as brutal a clock as you can get. Yeah. Oh, let's
Gotta hope you
go.
don't get Swords to Plowshares and Vintage Cube, but it was
Sure.
pretty nice.
That's amazing. Well, this card I find fascinating because when I underestimated this thing pretty dramatically, and I think a lot of people did. Like 1/3 for 4. And until your combat, it doesn't really do anything. And even then, it puts a counter on all your dudes, and it's a 2/4. Okay. Like, that doesn't sound like a lot at first, but the snowball is so fast with this thing. And the moment you combine it with any other +1/+1 counter synergies, or the moment you cheat it, like you ramp it out quickly, like if this is dropping on turn 4 with like 1 or 2 other dudes down, it's manageable. You'll probably be okay. But if this is hitting the board on like turn 3 with 4 other guys down, like, you know, it becomes board wipe or bust so fast.
Yeah.
And I find this card kind of interesting because on the one hand, like, it feels too strong and it feels problematic, but by the same token, through the other side of my mouth, I've been saying, man, I wish green was good in standard this whole time, right? Like for years. And it's like, well, here's a good green card. Like a green card. So in order for a green card to be a threat that is powerful enough to see standard play without just drawing a card or having hexproof or something dumb like that, like, this is how many stats it needs to provide. Like, this is how much it needs to give you. And it's like, my God.
They had to add some power to green. I mean, referencing another Edge of Eternity's card, Frenzied Baloth. Fantastic green card, right?
Oh,
Double green, 3/2, trample haste, can't be countered. It's got
all the things,
bunch of text on it, and then it stops your other creature spells from getting countered, and you know, combat damage can't be prevented. Also nice, but lots of text on this card, so it shows you what they had to do with green to make the color playable again, right? Black was so powerful before. You had Shieldred, you had Invoke Despair, which was banned in standard, right? You had like solid removal spells in terms of cut down, go for the throat. This card is fantastic, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and it's crazy because you don't see a whole lot of it. Like, unless you're playing straight like mono green aggro, you don't really see it. I see Frenzied Baloth more in like sideboards of decks for against control than anything else.
Yeah, that's been my experience too, and that's where I've played it. I know because I have a number. You know, I play a lot of green based like mid range strategies, and this in those kind of situations can be quite the silver bullet against it. Or it buys you a turn or establishes a threat and deals some damage against those Jeskai decks, and sometimes that's just all you need. So it dies real quick, real often, but at the same time, 2-drop that deals 3 damage and then soaks a removal spell. Okay, that's fine sometimes, but yeah, it's But yeah, this card's nuts. And also anything that checks the One Ring. That's whenever I see combat damage can't be prevented, it's like, okay. Yeah, anti-One Ring tech, noted. That's still something that I'm aware of, which is funny.
Have you lost to your fair share of One Rings, Sam?
I sure have, man. Yeah. Like we've all brawled occasionally. It is what it is. So so you have an alternative to Questing Beast. We have another one we can use. Yeah.
We also saw the Shocklands return to standard through Edge of Eternities, and I know we've talked about this on multiple podcasts in terms of the Avatar set stopping the cycle of the full 10 fetch lands being in standard or Shocklands being in standard at the same time, because that's what happened, right? They moved up Avatar's release date and they pushed Lorewinds back. So we're going to have an awkward time where, like we do with the fast lands, only 5 are in standard at any given time. But yeah, the return of Shocklands to make mana base is great, right? It definitely helpful for the Verges that are in like Aether Drift and otherwise. But yeah, still, interestingly enough, because of they didn't release the Shocklands, like all the allied versus enemy, in the same cycle. So what that has caused is like green white's mana base to not be great, right? Selesnya. So they have no fast land and no shock land. Um, I'm not advocating for Izzet to be any more powerful, but there's no steam vents
Right.
in this current set, which, you are more reliant upon your surveil lands plus your verges to make like the Jeskai deck playable. Blue white,
Right.
for example, has no fast land and no Hallowed Fountain, right?
Right.
So they will have Hallowed Fountain in the next set. So like we get to see that coming up in Lorwyn in a couple weeks, the reintroduction of the other 5 shocks, which, by the way, I mean, and we will talk about Lorwyn when spoilers come out, but
We
we
will,
get
absolutely.
full
Yeah.
flip Lorwyn / Shadowmoor shocklands, which I'm very excited for.
Exciting.
Though it is kind of awkward that we will have shocklands with different border treatments, right? So like Edge of Eternities have, I forget what it's called.
Like the
Geez.
spaceship landers, yeah.
Yeah. I forget the name of that showcase. But they have the 5 that are like that, and then you will have the Lorwyn Shadowmoor ones that are double-sided. So I can't have a matching set of the same treatment of shocklands, if that makes sense. Stellar Sights. Thank you, Akarasi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like a matching set. Either the full matching set of the one from Edge or full matching set of the ones from Lorwyn. I can imagine that it's future like Secret Lair product material, but they didn't announce that for 2026. So
yeah, that's definitely an opportunity. If they wanted to do a Secret Lair where they fleshed out the other half of the cycle in each of these, that'd be huge. I think it would behoove them to do that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good stuff. Well, the other card from Edge, there's so many moments this year where I felt like Wizards printed something specifically for me. That happened a couple of times this year. Which, to be fair, I'm a very predictable type of player, and they threw so much stuff to the wall. Of course, some of it was going to hit my tastes. But Edge of Eternities had one card that I think was just the best. Ice Still Explorer. I love this thing.
Oh yeah, love that card.
It's the best. It's just if I was like gun to my head best card that was introduced to Magic in 2025, this might be my answer. I freaking love this thing. 2/4 for 4, play an additional land each turn. You can play them from your graveyard, and whenever land hits, you mill a card. It's a Crucible of World that feeds itself. I've heard this referred to as the Oracle of Mildaya, and God, I love this thing. It's so good.
Also quite expensive. Isn't like a $15 card or something? Maybe a $20 card or something like this in standard.
Yeah, it's like 15 or 20, and I only have 2 of them, and I've just it's a whole thing. So yeah, it's because every green black deck in Commander wants this, right? So of course it's gonna be expensive. Like this is what it is. Yeah.
And standard playable, helps you one-shot things in the landfall deck. It's great.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, this thing is, believe it or not, totally on site. You have to kill this thing the moment it comes down. Also, pro tip: if you're playing with Fabled Passage and Ice Still Explorer, go into full control. Bring the Fabled Passage out and then crack it before the mill triggers. That way, because if you mill the basic land you were going to go grab, that really sucks, and that can happen. So, not super likely, but if you want to play optimally, that's just a little public service announcement. If I could just put that out there. Yep. But yeah, it's excellent. And this thing, you have to kill it on site. You have to. It's the amount of value, the amount of ramp you get. Like, I have found in games where I can stick this and get the additional land drop one more time to fill my graveyard. Like, it oftentimes can end games kind of not by itself, obviously, but it can supercharge and race you to the end game really aggressively. So I'm a fan. Yeah, freaking love this thing. Cool. Anything else from Edge that we want to talk about? I know Consult the Star Charts is another one that was just amazing.
Star Charts, amazing.
It's just so good.
In the control decks. From someone who personally played a lot with this card over the weekend. I didn't, we were looking at many podcasts back, many podcasts. I remember me, you, and Damien talking about a replacement for cards like Memory Deluge that the control decks wanted. And we had always referenced Stock Up from Aether Drift. It was not the card, but it's definitely Consult the Star Charts. This card's incredible. The more lands that you have, which control decks want a land drop every turn, and the more cards you get to look at and then pick 2. It gets to a point in the game where, I'm casting a Consult the Star Charts on like 12 lands on the battlefield. I'm looking at 12, I'm picking 2. I'm putting them back to the bottom. So the next Consult the Star Charts, I've definitely seen all of the cards in my deck, right?
Much, yeah.
By the time I've cast all of them. So
yeah, you know where they all are, yeah.
Crazy.
It's nuts. It's so good.
Yeah. Such a good card.
And the fact that it's instant speed. Like, that's the thing. Like, Stock Up, the only real knock against it is that it's sorcery. And with Consult, that's just not an issue. Yeah. It's freaking silly. Freaking silly. Well, yeah. Is there anything else that we wanted to talk about from Edge or anything else from 2025 in general? Because this has been a beefy one thus far.
Well,
and I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
We still have Avatar to talk about.
All right.
We already talked about Spider-Man's.
I suppose that did come out this year, didn't it?
Yeah, it sure did. We've referenced a bunch of the Avatar cards and how they play well with the other sets that have come out of 2025. We've referenced Badger Mole Cub already, and we thought that Badger Mole Cub was going to be the big bad of 2025.
Oh, we sure did.
We sure did. It's a great card. And so then Worlds happened, right? And Badger Mole Cub decks did not do incredibly well at Worlds, but that doesn't mean that they aren't good. It's a powerhouse of a card. It allows you to turn your mana creatures on to make extra mana. It earth bends, get your creatures. Those creatures tap for 2 extra mana. Multiple Badger Mole Cubs do ridiculous things with Ouroboros. But yeah,
the fact that they stack is silly. Like, yeah, you can actually go up on mana by playing this. Like, what? That shouldn't be a thing. But yeah, here we are. Yeah, all good things. However,
yeah. You have to like kill it immediately, right? If you can answer Badger Mole Cub with an efficient removal spell early, it becomes less effective. However, there is this infinite like Bant Ang combo that we will reference, all Avatar cards. That Badger Mole Cub is also in said deck, right? So you can airbend your Badger Mole Cub out, bring it back in, earthbend another land, and then just continue said combo.
Rinse repeat.
So it's very friable in terms of it just dies to removal, and that's totally fine. But it's still a very, very strong mythic card, which references our previous discussion about green cards, right? Having to print them overtly powerful to be playable.
Yes, exactly. Well, and Badger Mole Cub also has some other interesting interplay with it, because like earthbending prevents or gets around destroy or exile. It doesn't do anything with bounce. And so, like, if you have Into the Floodmaw, if you don't gift with it, you can target a creature and you can target the land. And so, like, or bounce off or boomerang basics. Like, if Badger Mole Cubs comes down, earthbend something, and then you just, or no, not boomerang basics. That one you can't do. But, like, if you bounce the land back, that's a gigantic tempo swing that they're only open to because they earthbent their land.
Right.
So, there is counterplay to Badger Mole Cub. So that's useful. But you have to have it, and it's like, and you need to respond like on site to this thing. You just have to.
Yep.
So, but yeah. Meanwhile, Gran is just chilling over here, being an uncommon.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey there. Yeah. I've heard this referred to as Ragagran because just such an insanely strong 1-drop that it's fair. And this card's nuts.
Listen, just when you thought, just because Master Paku is a master waterbender, you never thought in your life that Gran would be more powerful than the master waterbending teacher. Meanwhile.
Meanwhile. Woo. Yeah, Master Paku definitely was outside of his league with Gran. Let's be real. Yeah.
No wonder why it took the whole series for them to become re-betrothed.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's nuts. So yeah, 1/2 for 1. Whenever she becomes tapped, draw a card, discard a card. That already is pretty darn good. A 1-drop looter. Every time she taps, which obviously the joke is you can use it with water bending, or you could just attack with her, like, because it's turn 1, like, or turn 2 by the time you're swinging, so it's probably fine. And even if it's not, you get the 1 activation, so whatever. And then non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast as long as there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard, which, like, that effect is nuts. And 3 lessons in your graveyard in Constructed is trivially easy to get. Gran often spots you 1 by just discarding it, and then if you like abandoned attachments or something like that, boom, 3. You've got 3 lessons, no problem.
Yeah.
And then accumulate wisdom exists. And if you've reached that threshold, which is trivially easy, this costs 2 mana or 1 if Grand's down, and you draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
What the
notably put 3 cards in your hand, not draw cards. Very relevant because there are cards like the Unagi of Kyoshi Island, which I love to play with, which do not let you draw extra cards when your opponent accumulates wisdom.
Okay, yeah. I have not appreciated that. Fair enough.
But also, just to point out about Grand real quick, because I've been playing in RCQs, and over the last 2 days, you really appreciate the fact that if you are a Is It Lessons player, that Arena does the work for you, and you probably don't read your cards. There were multiple Is It Lessons players who forgot that Grand says, when Grand becomes tapped, draw a card, discard a card. So when they were playing against Dimir midrange players, and the Dimir player says, Flood Pit's Drowner, tap your Grand, how many missed triggers to discard draw there were, or to draw a discard there were. Because Arena does it for you. So when your opponent taps your creature, you only think, oh, I'm going to attack with this creature, then draw discard.
Right.
So many missed triggers this weekend across the board because people don't read the cards.
Interesting.
So it's interesting. It just brought, and they were talking about it after. They say, well, Arena does this all for you. Yes, please just read the card.
Right.
It's don't miss these triggers. They're very important for you. Your deck needs to draw this card.
100%. Yeah, and I would definitely recommend if you're gonna play anything in paper, like goldfish it a little bit first. Like play through a couple of hands and just kind of like see how you like really be like focus on what your deck is trying to do and where the triggers are.
Oh yeah.
Because those kind of details. You gotta know that stuff. Because interesting.
Grand certainly likes to hollow, but
yeah. So in totality, though, do we like Avatar? Big picture? Are you happy with the set? Do you think they did a good job of adapting it? Yeah.
I mean, I think so. So also fun fact, when I heard that they were coming out with the Avatar set, I had never seen Avatar. I never watched Avatar as a kid. So I was watching the set before I was watching the series before the set came out. And I was mid watching the series. So I was an ambassador for Avatar. So I knew the set like we do, like a month before the set came out or whatever. So here I am opening up the cards and I'm pre-recording my content to put out there on socials. And I'm getting story spoilers because I don't know what happens. So like when I was opening up the field research cards, which are the non-standard screenshots, right? That tell you, what's happened in the story. So the funniest thing was when I opened the card, it's called Lifelong Friendship. It's just a reskinned Eladamri's call. And it shows Aang getting reunited with Appa after the Sandbenders stole Appa, and Appa gets sent to Ba Sing Se, or ends up there, right? But this is that scene. I'm sorry. This is a scene where Aang is remembering when he first got Appa, when Appa was young Appa, and he is trying to convince Appa to be his friend for life. But Aang is like really mad, so he's remembering all of these memories of 100 years ago. So I was getting story spoilers, like what's going on here. But yeah, I think that the cards very much link up very aesthetically pleasing with the series. Much like they did a fantastic job with Final Fantasy in doing that. I definitely felt that here.
Yeah, I find it so funny, the spoiler issue, because like when they did when they were doing the review stream, they showed like, the panorama shots, and they showed one set of all the panoramas that shows all the characters who end up together at the end, like being cute, and it's just like, hold up. So people who are watching this review stream who've never seen the show before now just like massive spoiler dump, and here I'm pulling one up on the screen just so I can be a jerk face to all the folks watching who somehow missed that this card exists. And I find it so funny because like at the end of the day, if you're going to tell the entire story in the Magic set, spoilers are unavoidable. They're just part of the deal, you know?
Correct, yeah.
And that's something that I'm realizing, like, trying to make content around it. Like, do I put a spoiler warning on every single thing that I put out that's related to a Universes Beyond product? Like, I don't think that's reasonable. I feel like that's kind of silly.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, sometimes it just shows that stuff. Well, like, yeah, like this one, or like Firelord Zuko is another one where it's like, if you're actually paying attention, like, you know, Aang's just like chilling in the back, like just hanging out. Like, wait a minute. Like they're buds, they're cool. Like, well, they are.
Again, interesting to me,
you know?
right? So I'm mid watching series, and Firelord Zuko, this version, was one of the first cards they previewed, and I was of the understanding Zuko was like not the good guy in the series, having been on book 1, right? Zuko is hunting the Avatar. So why is Aang in the background in this art? Well, of course, if you finish the series, you would figure this part out. This is like one of the last scenes of Avatar where now they are joined up. They are, you know, bringing balance back to the nations and, you know, reintroducing the Avatar to the Fire Nation. Yeah.
Right. Well, and mechanically, and the thing is, like, I don't think that they should like avoid these kinds of spoilers in cards, because now this version of Zuko having access to firebending, having access to all 3 colors that kind of showcase his entire arc, his entire journey, and then caring about cards being cast from exile, like this Zuko synergizes with airbending, which makes sense. Of like him and Aang are allies now, so that's like a cool, like that's a cool flavor win that you get mechanically because that's this version of the character. So like, I love that. I think that's really cool. But yeah, it's like big time spoiler territory if you haven't seen the show. You know, it just is what it is. Yeah.
And, you know, this set, in this set, we're finding out, like, lots of great synergies that kind of work in Standard. I mean, personally, when the set first came out, I was trying a colorless ramp deck with Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong.
Yeah.
Because I love that card. I mean, me and you, we love Jank. Hopefully, those of you who are here also love some Jank.
This is
in
primo
Magic.
Jank. Yep. Oh, yeah.
It is, right? 6 mana, artifact. Pay 1, tap, scry 2. Whenever you scry or surveil, look at the top card of your library. You may cast the card without paying its mana cost once each turn. So your name and your opponent's, or your turn and your opponent's turn. And so we built for the streamer event all the lands that scry and surveil. So like Hidden Grotto, Conduit Pylons, right? These trigger your Planetarium on your turn, and then you can use the tap scry ability on your opponent's turn to try to get some free spells. So obviously, like, Ugin is in this deck, right? Because all of the cards are colorless. It just makes the most sense. We got Eldrazi, we got Hedron Archive, we got Poo Poo UFO from Final Fantasy. Imagine playing your Final Fantasy cards with your Avatar cards, and here I am fighting against Spider-Man. Magic the Gathering. And
it's
so
happening. It's happening.
We could do all of these sorts of things in the same sphere now. So yeah. Don't mind me, y'all. This is we're living in the moment.
I love it. It's so perfect.
Yeah. And so playing this card is certainly very fun for me. But you know, there's tons of actually standard playable cards in this set, so don't let my jank overshadow the other powerful cards.
Well, so there's the Planetarium Wan Shi Tong, but there's also just Wan Shi Tong. That's another card that's available. Talk about a banger, man. Like, what if Hydroid Krasis was only 1 color, and Flash and Vigilance? Like, yeah, it's pretty good. Turns out, yeah.
Card is great.
And it's got like an Archivist, or what's the one card? Archivist of Agma. Like, I want to say,
where you search it, you draw a card, put a counter on it.
Yeah, silly.
And that comes up very sparingly. If you're playing against the landfall deck, it comes up a lot, obviously, because they're fetching, and you know, Wan Shi Tong gets to grow and draw you more cards. The best part about this card is very clearly the flash on it. Also, you can destroy the Wan Shi Tong, but you still get to draw the cards, like, because it is an enters trigger. So if you flash this in and your opponent, let's say you X equals 4 here, where Wan Shi Tong is going to enter with 4+1/+1 counters. So it would be a 5/5 for 6 mana, and you get to draw 2 cards. It's a trigger that goes on the stack. If your opponent kills the Wan Shi Tong, you still draw 2 cards because it's one trigger but 2 different values of X. I had to explain that to a couple players this weekend. Again, Arena doing the work for you tells you the rules right away as they're supposed to work. So lots of people were like bitter triumphing my Wan Shi Tong, and I'm like, great, I'll still draw my 2 cards, and they go up, judge. Okay, well,
sure, of course,
we'll have to explain this. Yes.
If it was worded, like put X 1/1 counters, then draw that many cards, different story. Like like you could, there's a lot of ways when or draw card. Yeah, well, what like draw cards equal to his power? No, even then. But yeah, the fact that it does just key off the original X value and just gives you the cards. Yeah, it's pretty silly. So
this card is worth a bunch of dollars in right now in standard.
All the dollars.
It's interesting because I guess in Commander, if you have infinite mana, you can draw out your deck because of the X, right? So maybe that's why it's worth a bunch of money. I think in paper it's worth like somewhere between $35 and $40. The alternate version's worth a buttload of money. But I don't know if the card is good. I don't know that it warrants the price tag on it. So it's got to be Commander that is like upping the price of this card.
Probably. Yeah. Well, and in Commander, people searching their libraries happens a lot more. So like that effect is a lot more notable. And it itself is a legendary creature. So if you want to build the blue good stuff deck, like it is a Commander. This is also one of those where I think a lot of I don't know. I just made the comment earlier about how like CEDH players probably aren't looking at certain commanders and finding ways to make them work as it relates to Shiko. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's CEDH implications with this. I mean, being mono blue is a thing, and I don't know that format all that well. But if you told me that, playing with power had a version of this, I wouldn't be surprised. Like that because it's so efficient and Flash is fantastic. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's that's the bottom line. I'm sure you could do it. But yeah. So good stuff.
But also talking about another set that just has like a banger land cycle. That it's not a dual land cycle and also not legendary, which also kind of confuses me that these lands aren't legendary from a flavor perspective.
Again, yeah.
Like I mentioned the planets from Edge of Eternities not being legendary, being strange, but like. These lands in Avatar not being legendary also seems strange to me. Granted, it makes them more playable that they aren't legendary. For example, Bossing Say, having multiple copies of Bossing Say in your deck, probably fine. It just earthbends too at sorcery speed. Need basic lands for them to enter untapped. But shouldn't Bossing Say be legendary? Because there is only one Bossing Say.
Well, and with this city in particular, like I feel like this show, you hear people talk about it a lot before you even get there. So like even in universe, like, not just being an individual, which is really all it takes for Magic to warrant legendary status. I feel like legendary would actually be a flavor win because like this city is just a legendary monument in that world, So
like the walls of Bossing Say are legendary.
Yeah.
So you would think that the town would be too. I mean.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they play fast and loose with legendary lands. They just do, and they tend to avoid them, like just because they're a pain to play. But yeah, I think it would be
like the abandoned air temple, right? There are multiple obviously abandoned air temples in the show, so that one not being legendary kind of makes more sense. I mean, the artwork does reference the southern air temple, right? Because that's where it has the statue of Gyatso, or is that the Northern Air Temple? I forget now, but it's one of the temples has the statue of Gyatso.
Man, if you had just been confident about that, you totally would have gotten away with it.
Yeah. I forget which one. I'm trying to remember which one of the Air Temple is upside down. I think the Northern Air Temple is the one that's upside down. And the Southern Air Temple is the one with Gyatso. But it makes sense. You could call Abandoned Air Temple a non-legendary land because there are multiple in the series. what is the red one? It is Fire Nation Palace.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's really only one reference, Fire Nation Palace. I mean, they have like their
Right.
vacation home or whatever. It's whatever
Probably,
you want
but
to call
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a flavor fail in my mind that they aren't legendary, but they would be less playable, I think, if they were legendary.
Yeah.
Like
They
I
they,
want
they
multiple
prioritize game.
abandoned air temples in my deck because it's just great.
It's a good card, yeah. No, they definitely prioritize playability over flavor on those, which is fine. Like the World Tree is, the kind of the one where I remember first being like, really, that's not legendary. Like, how is that not legendary? But fair enough, this is what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. Also, I kind of dig the designs on all of these because they like Abandoned Air Temple is very strong. Meanwhile, something like Fire Nation Palace, I think, is kind of cheeks. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
really quite bad.
I
And I
agree.
find it funny how differing in quality they are. Whereas something like Boxing Say in draft is fantastic, and
Hmm.
outside of it, it's okay, I guess. It's really funny how that lines up. But yeah, no, cool designs and any utility lands that provide colored mana is something that I appreciate because usually the cost of adding utility lands, as we often see with cards like Fountain Port or Demolition Field, the cost is just not getting to fix your colors, which is some decks
Hmm.
it's a problem, some decks it's not, but I appreciate that that's not an issue with these. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
speaking of other like powerful cards in the set, because Avatar is a very powerful set in terms of power creep of cards. Um,
hmm
we One thing that I do like is the types of older cards from older standard sets that you can now play because of cards in the set. So
yeah,
Beifong's Bounty Hunters is the first card that like pops to my mind that makes some of your older cards playable.
yeah.
There is a combo deck in standard, an infinite combo because of Beifong Bounty Hunters,
It sure is.
together with Bloodghast and Umbral Zealot. So Bloodghast was reprinted in Aether Drift,
Hmm
wasn't really played when it first came out, even though Bloodghast
Yeah,
used to be a powerhouse of a card, right? Umbral Zealot is from Edge of Eternities. And then you get to play the cool desert. What is it called?
Festering Gulch.
Festering
Yeah.
Gulch, yes, from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. And so that little combo infinitely deals damage to you because you keep earth bending this land to return it back to the battlefield from Beifong's
hmm
Bounty Hunters. And you sack the Bloodghast, and that's what enables you to keep earth bending, and it's crazy.
It's very
Um,
silly. Also works
yeah,
with Insidious Roots, which
it's true.
I'm a fan of. That's the version that I played. Which that infinite, you create a scenario where, well, be warned, that does not play well in Arena because you have so many clicks that you have to go through in order to loop the combo. And when you get an infinite loop going on Arena,
Uh-huh.
instead of just acknowledging that you have an infinite loop and letting you repeat it X number of times, which would be really cool. I don't know what would be involved in coding something like that, but it'd be handy. Instead,
I don't know if we're noticing right now, but Ham's camera is frozen again, and it's
oh, it's
in a
frozen on a
smiling
silly.
face looking at Beifong's Bounty Hunters, and it's great.
I don't hate that. Thanks for letting me know. It does that sometimes. Thanks for the heads up
Yeah,
on that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we're back. All right. Um, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
Ham's
Well,
just
this
a
card
happy
this card
little
makes me
guy.
happy. I'm a very happy little guy when it comes to this card.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is when you get that loop going, there are times when like I have deterministically won the game, but I have to click 1,200 damn buttons in order to do
Mhm.
it, and the game will
Yes.
actually fire an error and time you out and force you to move on.
Yes.
And so I have lost matches that I should have won because of just the combo being cumbersome. So be aware of that. This is going to play much better in paper than it does on Arena. This is
Yes.
the thing.
Yes. I was about to say
Yep.
opposite of problems that we're having with cards that folks
Yep.
don't remember because
Yep.
of Arena does
Exactly.
things for you. This is the
hmm
perfect example of works much better in paper than
Much
on
much
Arena.
better in paper. Yeah, so I definitely recommend if you're gonna play it in paper. Like you can experiment with
Yeah.
it on Arena to get familiar with it, but just know you will lose some matches that you shouldn't just because of the tech. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sort of like the last thing I kind of want to touch on Avatar really quick
Yeah.
is um really to speak about like foundations, right?
Mm.
In terms of foundations being the standard legal set for 5 years, so we will experience it at least 5 years. They said it can go beyond that, but at least
Right.
5 years legal and standard. Um, and the Universes Beyond set bringing people into the game. If you just got into Magic via Avatar: The Last Airbender, there is a completely standard legal set that is mostly made up of, or standard legal deck that's made up mostly of Avatar cards. That's the 5-color Allies deck. Literally 35 creatures in the deck, and they are all cards from Avatar. So, you take, whatever type of land base that you'd like. You could play like Secluded Courtyard, that was in Foundations, right? Of course, you'd want to play Cavernous Souls to make your allies uncounterable, amongst other lands, right? But you can utilize the land base to play all creatures from Avatar to legitimately play a strong standard legal deck. Not saying it is the best in the world, but you can surely enable very large allies to just kill your opponent, and you're just like pressuring them every turn. So yeah, Great Divide Guide. It plays Aang, Swift Savior, and Appa, Steadfast Guardian. You get to play Hakoda. Hakoda gets to let you cast allies off the top of your deck, which is fantastic. Earth Kingdom Protectors give your creatures indestructible too, to make them resilient from removal. It's all around a great card. And the South Pole Voyager gains you life. Like, it's just so synergistic. So if you showed up at a couple Avatar drafts at your LGS and got some cards, you can put them together. And the Bant Katara, Katara Fearless Leader, I think it is the one that doubles your ally triggers. So that turns your South Pole Voyager into gain 2 life, draw a card right away, which is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. No, really strong stuff. So, so exactly. If you draft Avatar, a handful of times and pick up a couple singles. Well, and I mean, this is definitely the draft archetype manifest into a constructed deck. And whenever that's viable, it's a safe bet for... I wouldn't be surprised if this is a playable fringe deck that, will probably, as the meta shifts over the years, be more or less viable depending on how things go. But it looks good, man. It looks good and looks powerful. So,
and it makes me wonder, and I hope that they do this. They haven't really done it since Zendikar, printing creatures with the ally creature type. If they end up doing that in future sets in Standard to work with the Avatar cards, that would be nice.
That would be.
Next set coming up is Lorwyn Eclipse. I very doubt that there are any ally creature types in that set. But, they might pair it with other Universes Beyond sets. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know if they have allies. I honestly am not familiar with the IP outside of, watching the cartoon as a kid and playing some of the games. But I'm sure that the Ninja Turtles surely had allies.
They sure did.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, you can also use changelings. That's true from Lorwyn.
Yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, no, there's that. Well, I think ally is one of those types where like the name that word is so vague. You could justify that in almost anything, So they could easily do allies outside of Avatar or Zendikar if they wanted to. Although, April O'Neil and Casey Jones are the 2 allies of the Ninja Turtles that first come to mind, and I can't help but notice they are not ally subtype. The cards of them that we've seen have not been ally typed. So that's a thing. So there's a good chance we won't see allies with turtles, but it is what it is. Yep. Good stuff. Cool. Well, we have been this episode so far is 3 hours long because holy cow.
Oh my god, imagine Hamhawk speaking for 3 hours.
I know, it's wild. And Carlo, you too, it's wild. Who would have thought that when 2 streamers get together, we can talk for a long time? It's nuts, you guys. Also, by the way, anybody listening to this after the fact, did you know we both stream? It's a whole thing.
It's true.
There are links in the description below if you're watching
they let me be on the internet.
They do. CarloMTG over on Twitch. I recommend it, actually. It's a good time. Chill vibes. Delightful. So yeah, so definitely drop follows in all the places. And Carlo, was there anything else that you wanted to chat about 2025 as we bring the whole year in for a landing?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of personally, I mean, 2025 was a very, very good year, content wise. We got to do lots of stuff with Magic over 2025 that I'm hoping continues into 2026. Who knows? But yeah, lots of events and stuff that are coming up. There are double the amount of Spotlight series coming up in 2026 than there were in 2025, and I'm looking forward to them. I am going to Spotlight Series Atlanta, which is less than 2 weeks away at this point, which is Spotlight Series Avatar, so it's standard. So if anybody's going to play some standard in Atlanta, Georgia, I will be there. And then at the beginning of February, it's like the second weekend, I'm going to Canada. I'm terrible with Canadian accents, but it is for Spotlight Series Lorwyn Eclipse. So if there's any Canadian friends here that are going to be attending that in Toronto, I will be bringing my snow booties. And so, yeah, so I will be there with my little, the wicker stuff you put on the bottom of your shoes so you don't get snow. No, it's probably too stereotypical Canada. But, allegedly I should bring a jacket. That's what I heard.
As a Michigander, I have definitely spotted, like unshoveled sidewalks with those footprints. I'm very familiar with what you're talking about. Yes, I do.
Yes. Yeah.
I know that. Yeah. Gotta get that traction, baby. It's very important. Yep. Yeah. And so multiple layers. Hammer Goblin, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very cool.
What else are we doing in 2026? MagicCon Vegas is in May.
Indeed it is.
Which we will be at. And then I'm also later the summer in July going to be making a trip across the pond for Magic, going to Amsterdam, which I'm very excited for. So that's currently on the plan. I think March there's something happening in DC.
Okay.
I think it's another standard Spotlight series. I don't remember, to be honest, but I will be there too. So lots of sweet stuff coming up in 2026.
Heck yeah. Fantastic. You love to see it. Yeah, and I'm going to be doing, I'm going to make it to every MagicCon I'm able to. I was hoping to make Amsterdam happen, but I got to be honest, I think logistically that's going to be tricky. But yeah, that's going to be fun. 2026 is going to be a good year. Because big picture for me, 2025 was pretty darn nice too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So no, we're going to have a good one. And I'm actually planning on ringing in the new year with a 24-hour stream over on twitch.tv/hambox42, where some of you are watching this right now. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. But yeah, so I am actually going to be ringing in the new year, playing Sea of Thieves on Wednesday, and shifting over to Magic at some point in the wee hours of the evening, and just jamming until...
Wait, are we playing Sea of Thieves on Wednesday? Can I play?
I'm planning on playing Sea of Thieves. Would you like to join us? Yes, please.
Wait, what is Wednesday? The 31st?
Wednesday is the 31st. Wednesday is New Year's Eve, baby.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Can I play Sea of Thieves?
I would love to play Sea of Thieves. I like playing Sea of Thieves. It's
destroy other people's boats. It's great.
Exactly. Ring in the new year by sinking people. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's funny. In general, when it comes to video games, I try to be kind and nice and generous and like very PvE, and I want to make sure everybody has a good time. And like I play a lot of group hug elements in my commander decks. I just want to make sure everybody enjoys themselves. Yeah. Unless I'm playing Sea of Thieves. Then if I see you on the horizon, you're going down.
That's right.
I'm a monster in that game. And I love it. It's so much fun. You gotta let that out every now and then. It's just it helps me vent. But yeah. So that's gonna be this Wednesday. Wednesday going into Thursday. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm planning on having giveaways and silly like reward tiers if we get if subs come in. So more to come on that. Nice. And yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, we're gonna go sailing. It's gonna be cool. But yeah, in the meantime, I think it's time that we rest our voices a little bit. We've definitely been chatting enough for the moment. But yes, thank you so much, Carlo, for jumping in on the stream and recording the podcast today. It's been an absolute delight, and I cannot think of a better way to close out the year. This has been awesome, and here's to many more to come.
Yes, right. Please make sure, y'all, if you are in the chat on Twitch while we are doing this, make sure you click that link. Make sure you are subscribed to the MagicJank YouTube channel because we post all of our podcasts there. So when we're not doing these things live, make sure that you're watching the recordings when they go live. Ham is very, very good at getting them out the next day after we record them and we yap. So check it out. Make sure you're subscribed to MagicJank YouTube.
Yeah, well, y'all make it easy. The one take is usually good enough to just kind of like slap the intro and the outro and post, and we call it good. So
yeah,
if I were to claim that I'm the audio engineer, that's me giving myself way too much credit on this. But yeah, it's delightful.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, so dude, Carlo, thanks so much. Chat, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you very much. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Later, y'all.